the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Thursday, everybody.
I've literally had that exact same thought about that alien. I'm like, I could just top stick the head on. Just get a toothpick and top stick it on.
I've been sitting here staring at it. And there he is. He's back in business.
Because, I mean, that way, at least you can get a little swivel, you know? A little swivel in his game.
Got to keep your head on a swivel.
That's right.
Yeah, sorry, I was doing some do-it-yourself repair work on one of our guys here.
Keep your head on a swivel when you're in an angry cockfight.
He's good as new now. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Yeah, welcome to it.
Welcome to your one day close to the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So, hope it's going well. It's chilly out, but not like earlier in the week chilly to me.
No, I feel like it was colder this morning than it's been for a while.
Well, it seems like there's less wind or something.
It might be, maybe less wind, but it just, like the last couple of mornings, I've been able to like go out, get my car started, like with basically, no coat on or anything, which is fine. This morning I went out to do that. I was like, ooh, I ran back and got my hoodie.
I think we've been above freezing the last few days, and today we are just a tick under freezing at 31 right now. So that's probably the reason why. But I guess with the wind, it just didn't seem as frigid to me. But I don't know. I'm weirdly built, so.
It's still long sleeve t-shirt season, so.
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna get mine
with coat today and t-shirt because it gets warm in here when as soon as, especially when it gets like 60, it gets very warm in this room. So you can go across the hall, feels pleasant in there, but in here,
I'd say chilly. I'd say downright it feels chilly in that room.
Yeah, here it's hot. So it's so whatever we do, keep the air on.
Right.
No matter what. That's the rule. So we don't really have any guests today. It's the first part of the year, so guests will be trickling slowly. So we're gonna have some chit chat this hour, and we'll replay some interviews in the 8 and 9 o'clock hour. I watched a couple television shows. Well, I watched 1.5 television shows yesterday that I want to talk about.
Okay.
One is a new show. One is sort of new.
Okay.
And to be honest, both in the same vein of style of TV, we could say reality, but both on the opposite ends of the spectrum as far as the activity involved in said reality show.
Foxy boxing. Got it.
Yes. So we're going to have... No,
I watched a documentary yesterday as well that might be an interesting discussion.
Okay.
So we'll have
anything to do with Latter-day Saints? Or?
Did not. It did not.
Or Jehovah's Witness or whatever.
No, this one I can actually talk about. Yeah, so it's actually I ended up watching the documentary Bronies.
Oh, the one about the My Little Pony people.
Yeah, the dudes who were into My Little Pony.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I did not realize just how large this group actually is. Like, I knew there was a lot of them.
Yeah.
They filled a 10,000 person convention hall. Like 10,000 people.
Is that a national convention?
It was I think that one was the international convention.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, that was the last time they did it in 2019.
Okay.
It was the last time they actually held a convention, and they broke their record of 10,000 people. Just over 10,000, like 10,300 or something like that.
On the surface, that sounds like a lot. But if in the big international, which means we're talking billions of people on the planet,
right.
There's 10,000 people. dudes. We'll just say dudes. I'm sure there's a few women, but it's mostly dudes.
Right.
Dressed up into the My Little Pony.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a lot by a worldwide perspective.
Yeah.
But when put into one convention hall, it's a little bit surreal.
Yeah, I would imagine. It's either Shangri-La or nightmare fuel, depending on your perspective.
I got to tell you, the whole time I'm watching this documentary, I'm sitting there going, is he gay? I can't tell. Like, every single person in the movie, like, maybe they are. I can't tell. That one definitely. Maybe on you. I'm not sure. Like, you couldn't tell with half of them. But yeah, I mean, regular, unassuming dudes just showing up and showing out.
I think it's a documentary you watch, and at the end, you're like, hug your kids, man. That's what I think. It's like, dude, hug your kids. Treat them, give them a normal childhood so they don't get subject themselves to this in later years.
Well, I stumbled on it because I've been forced through the last 3 days of parenthood to basically to drown in My Little Pony.
Yeah.
Dumb. Both the TV show and the kids wanted to listen to the soundtrack the other day when we were driving. So
right.
It's a lot. It's a whole lot.
I would imagine.
And I'm not sure if the algorithm picked up on it, but it just popped up in my For You thing. I'm like, this might be a fun watch. And it was interesting.
Down the rabbit hole
When I
we went.
say all walks of life, though, there's this dude who comes from this 4,000 person town in like rural, I think it was like Arkansas or something like that.
Yeah.
Real like Bible Belt conservative. He's a farm boy, but somehow he stumbled onto the show and it became a thing for him.
Okay.
And so
I imagine there's probably one or two that like guys like a Wall Street banker pulling in, $300,000 a year or something.
Yeah.
Or I'm probably lowballing. And he's a Wall Street suit guy by day. By night, he's a brony. I'm sure there's a few of those stories too.
Yeah. There was like one or two of those. There was the one where the slightly older, like teenage boy that was into it.
Okay.
And his heavily conservative father, who he ends up taking with him to the convention and trying to like show his very conservative dad why it's okay for him to be into a My Little Pony and all that.
So it's Trekkies, but with My Little Pony.
Kinda, yeah.
Because the more you talk about it, the more it sounds like Trekkies.
What it is it's fandom. If anybody who has like a fandom for anything, it's you get obsessive with it.
It's the same world.
Boy, how
insert
do you do
costume here, but it's the same mindset, same lifestyle. Yeah, I get that. So, the two shows I got. One premiered last night on Fox.
Okay.
And it's called Special Forces: The Ultimate Test or something like that. And it's 16 celebrities that go through Special Forces type training.
Okay.
And
they've done that before.
Similar. This is a little different.
Okay.
And I'll tell you about it here as we get. And then the other one is a callback, a retwist of a callback. You remember the show Moonshiners?
Yeah, for a couple seasons. Yeah, it was real big on the Discovery Channel.
It's still a thing. They still show like a new season of Moonshiners is on Thursday nights now.
Sure.
But they've also been showing a reality show that's more like a Food Network show that I watched half an episode of during lunch yesterday that I was kind of into.
Okay.
It's called Moonshiners Master Distillers. And do you vaguely remember some of the cast from the original?
Sort of.
There was that guy that was like Tickle or Pickle or whatever his name is, and then there's the guy that's shirtless with his overalls all the time. And he's kind of one of the main dudes, and then there's a couple others that sprinkle out throughout the show. Well, those guys are like judges.
Oh wow! And so they're judging other people's moonshine.
And the other, and the one and a half episode I watched, it was three or four different groups competing, pairs competing, and I guess they start with a certain base, and then they kind of work on it and keep working on it, and then they get eliminated down to the one at the end of the show. And I was kind of fascinated by it, so I got to talk more about it.
I'm intrigued, but at the same time, it's like this is the thing that bothers me about the show. How is it still a thing? How have they not been arrested yet?
Because it's all legal.
It's not though.
It is. What they're doing is legal.
Making moonshine?
It is when you get the licensing and everything for it, which I'm sure they've got because it's
Then
Discovery
why do they
Channel.
do it backwoods? Why
Because
do they,
it's the.
is that just the traditional style?
Yeah, it's the keep the theater. And to be honest, this show is not all backwoods. They're like in a studio making their shine. Like they got their stills built in the studio, and it's like Food Network more than anything.
All right, Bill, let's go ahead and try yours.
But
Well, I didn't immediately go blind, so that on first impression.
well, this was it. It's all artisany, and it's as bougie as craft beer or pumpkin spice lattes or any of the other artisany garbage that people are into. Now.
Sorry, there's only so much you can flower up hooch. It's still, I mean, you're
Well, and that's
you're
just
drinking
it.
swill.
That's just it. Like you listen to this pickle guy and all these, and they all start talking, and they're like, but you start talking about distilling and mixing whiskey, they all sound like scientists and doctors. All of a sudden, it's like they're going from the pH level needs to be down to the same on the side, and then of course if you don't have the for the right fermentation,
Did you just say gastroenterology pickle?
Your pipe is at 45.2 degrees. It needs to be to 45.7, and you're just like, whoa! What happened to these guys? They went from like Skeeter Dieter to PhD Rhodes Scholars all of a sudden.
Well, when it's a topic they like.
Yeah,
Basically the same reason I learned the metric system.
yeah, yeah. So I will talk about those more so now. The other one because I pretty much talked about everything on the other one, but it was kind of interesting. All right, it is 16 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure will stay in place over the central and southern Rockies all the way through the weekend, and that means pretty nice weather for us. It'll be mild today, afternoon high in the mid-60s, and we should get sunshine and not too windy. For the overnight hours, a few clouds and mid-30s, and then close to 70 and sunny on Friday. We're in the low 60s with sunshine Saturday and Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 31 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 61%. Winds are calm at the moment. Sunny today, 62 are expected high. Winds will be out of the southwest, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 36 degrees. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, bust out the tank tops and shorts. It's time for the gun show. Sunny skies. 72 for a high tomorrow. Yeah, drink it in. Winds will be out of the west, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 34 degrees. Northwest winds at around 10 miles per hour. And for your weekend, Saturday, mostly sunny. Cooling off, not back into the 70s, but into the 60s, 61. Winds out of the northwest, 5 to 10. Sunday, sunny skies, highs near 60. So not too shabby for the first week of 2023. Shoot, you'll be in the 70s by Friday. All right, it is 18 minutes after 7 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and take a 4-minute commercial break, and then we'll be back on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Listen, you want a pizza? You can get one of those anywhere. But if you want authentic, traditional, brick oven-style pizza, forget about it. There's only one place in town, our Pizza Center in Roswell. I'm talking about authentic pies using authentic ingredients. Plus, pasta, salads, wings, subs, burgers, and a whole menu chock full of your favorites. You can dine in or have it delivered up to 5 miles. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. at 505 North Main in Roswell. Or check out RoswellPizzaCenter.com. And hey, mention you heard it on the radio and buy one pizza, get one free. Our Pizza Center, a taste of the old world, right here.
Central Valley Electric is continually learning and advancing technology that improves electric service, reliability, and safety, and in turn enhancing the quality of life for members that we serve in our local communities. CVE offers an account management program called Smart Hub that allows members to track their usage, set up convenient pay methods, and the ability to manage their energy use with smart technologies. A secure system such as Smart Hub is an easy tool to use. To sign up, visit cvecoop.org and click Smart Hub to get started.
As you begin this new year, you may have plans to get in better shape. That's a very good thing to do. I believe God wants us to take care of the body that He's given us to best serve Him. However, I think it's even more important to get our spiritual lives in good shape. That can be more challenging than physical exercise. Just like you need a plan to exercise, you need a plan to grow your spiritual life. Use a calendar or a journal, get a daily Bible reading plan, set an alarm on your phone, and take some time to read scripture and pray. Find a friend that'll partner with you so that you can keep each other accountable for not only daily Bible study, but for prayer as well. Just like you must discipline your physical body by building good habits, you must do the same thing with your spiritual body. At first, it may seem like you have to make yourself do these things, but believe me, once you get into that routine, you won't want to miss it, and you'll feel a true loss when you do. Give it a try. I promise it'll make a positive difference in your life.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
With the hustle, bustle, and bright lights of the holidays in the rearview mirror, it's time to ease into the new year with a new car or truck from your friends at Roswell Ford. Because nobody makes car buying easier. With more than 500 pre-owned vehicles in stock and brand new units arriving all the time, finding the perfect vehicle is easy. A 3-day money-back guarantee on all pre-owned vehicles makes the decision easy. No payments for 90 days easily gives you time to put those holiday expenses behind you. And with a goal of 100% credit approval, Roswell Ford even makes financing easy, regardless of your credit situation. And we happily accept I-10s. Like I said, easy. So make some time and come see what we have for you at the Tailgate Nation. Whatever you're looking for, you can count on Roswell Ford to keep it simple and make it easy. We're waiting for you now at the corner of 9th and Main, so we're even easy to find.
Edge Safety and Services LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screen. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 402 West Main Street inside the Edge Safety and Services facility. Edge Safety and Services LLC is an equal opportunity employer.
This is Dallas Cowboys football 2022.
Nothing that says on Christmas Eve you can't make 3rd and 6.
Only heard here.
Snap back, throws the ball deep to the middle. Lamb at the 5.
All season.
Stop, spin, dances in.
Sunday afternoon, it's your Cowboys and the Washington Commanders.
Live from FedEx Field.
On this Dallas Cowboys radio network station.
Pre-game at 1:30 p.m. on 92.9 The Brand.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. More than 50% of Americans fall asleep on their sides. That's way better than falling asleep on someone else's side. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 7 o'clock. So you heard there right before the end of the break there, Cowboys, Commanders squaring off. We'll have that game for you on our sister station 92.9 The Brand and in Espanol on 106.1 FM Fierro. Of course, for Cowboys fans, little gee-whiz information. The Commanders will be starting their rookie quarterback against the Cowboys on this weekend, Sam Howell, because our other two stink.
Well, it feels like the right time in the season to make this kind of change.
Well, in all fairness, it was a goat rope, too, yesterday. Because after the debacle that was last weekend where Carson Wentz was put in to save the day and he stunk up the joint, they know what they got with Heineke. And he initially was named starter for was it Sunday's game? They play Saturday or Sunday?
Sunday.
Sunday's game against the Cowboys. They said, well, we'll start Heineke. And then I think Riverboat Ron changed his mind just sometime during the day because then he said, nah, Sam Howell's going to start. And I think it's because we're not playing for anything. We're done. We lost. We're not. We know Carson Wentz isn't the answer. He's going to be gone in the offseason or, he's no longer a part of the equation. They know they got with Heineke. Heineke's got a ceiling. Is he a great backup? You betcha. You want him starting for your team? Probably not.
Right.
Sam Howell, we drafted 5th round, and then so we got to see if this guy's worth it. He's a bit smallish, but he's Heineke. He's got more of the He's got more of Wentz's arm. He's got a strong arm.
Okay.
But he's got a little bit more of Heineke's sense of scramble and sense
and that's
mobility.
I think you're better off having a smaller quarterback.
Yeah, and
you have that ability to kind of be more wiry.
Well, the disadvantage to having a smaller or shorter quarterback is they have trouble seeing over the line and seeing receivers.
Right.
That's why atypically when they look at quarterbacks, they want a big 6'3", 6'4", some strapping dude, you know. Drew Brees is one of the biggest knocks against Drew Brees is he's only 6 foot, which in normal world that's a strapping man, you know, 6 foot. But in football quarterback world, he's a shrimp. So that's why when you look on the field and you see running backs out there, and the average running back's like my height, 5'8", and they look like children out there. I mean, they look like bowling balls because they're wide, and built like, you know, Guns City over here, but they're only 5'8", so they're little bowling balls. But yeah, so I think Hal's got potential, but I don't know if he's ready. He's going to get his lunch handed to him on Sunday. But
well, you picked a good game to do it.
Well, and I think they just want to see if this guy's got a chance to be our future, or do we need to look elsewhere? And to be honest, I think it doesn't really matter because I think Washington's going to clean house in the offseason when they get a new owner and new everything, and it's going to all be different, so it doesn't matter. But, you know, we'll see. And to be honest, Washington doesn't need to clean house. I mean, maybe coaching staff, we could make that argument all day. I don't know. But if you give them an offensive line and a quarterback, that team's making a run of the Super Bowl.
If you give them an offense, a defense, and a quarterback, they actually got a chance. A good kicker, yeah.
No, they've got, as far as running backs and wide receivers and a defense, they're there. They've got a championship caliber of that, I think. You pair that with a quarterback that is capable, with an offensive line that will protect him, then that team's making a run of the Super Bowl, I think.
Wow.
That's my opinion. But that's a big if.
It is.
Because ifs and buts for candy and nuts, oh, what a party we'd have. And, that's what we're trying to get a quarterback here. So, but anyway.
When's the last time you went to a baller party with candy and nuts? When's the last time you're like, ooh, candy and nuts? This is great. Isn't this great?
I gotta dig it.
Wait a second. You're telling me they had nuts and candy?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Oh, what a party we had.
Oh, what a party it was. Should have been there. Should have hung out, man. We had candy. We had nuts.
Well, you got to have something festive that rhymes with butts.
That's right.
So Cowboys fans, good news is if Cowboys lose on Sunday, it's your own fault. That's all I'm saying. Y'all.
It's yours to lose.
That's right. You are getting here you go. Hand this win to you. And anyway, wrapping up the Moonshiners. It's kind of interesting. It's a Food Network like show, but it's on History Channel with and what I liked about it was the contestants were like from all walks of life. Like they had a husband and wife combo that I'm pretty sure they're Appalachian type people, you know, in the mountains, and they make moonshine all day. Then there was like a father-son combo that like they look like they're just getting into it to be a father and son thing, kind of like your bronies, but with moonshine.
So basically the same thing, right? No, totally makes sense.
And then they had like buddies, and I'm not sure if they're like college buddies or buddies that are just neighbors that watch football on Sunday and talk about their meat grilling and all that.
Are we talking about buddies or like
no, like bros, bros. Okay.
I mean, distilling takes a long time. It's a very long and arduous process. You got to spend a lot of lonely hours in the middle of nowhere with your good male friend. I'm just saying, there's a lot of Brokeback Mountain, potential there.
None of that. This was more like
Brokeback Distillery.
Two dudes that are junior executives at the paint store that hang out together. And on the weekends they talk about Notre Dame football and
two bros mixing up
and
some
Sam
moonshine,
Adams beer and stuff like that.
Because they're not gay.
That type.
Yeah.
And so it was them, and then what was the other group? was a father, son.
I'm just going to assume a cardiologist and one of his patients.
Yeah, it was something else. I can't remember the other one, but not memorable. But that was kind of interesting to me to see people. But the other one part is like they have to build their still. So that's the one part. Pickle or Tickle or whatever his name is takes them out to the woods, and then they go to some shed out there, and it's got a bunch of parts, and so they have to go in like supermarket sweep style. And like get their all the parts they need for their still, and then they bring it back, and they only they go in twos, but only one can do the part swapping or shopping. So they come back, and then they got to both figure out together if they got enough parts.
Am I naive? Is it? I thought that distilling like moonshine was a process of like months. That it takes a long time.
I think it can, but that's more of.
Because it just sounds like they're doing all this within like the confines of one afternoon or something.
Well, they run it so they can proof it, so they make it. But yeah, I think like for your higher end stuff, they age it and stuff. This they don't have time for that. So
well, I thought the process of fermentation took time.
Well, and some of that does happen, and so they kind of cut away. Like there was all right, we're stopping for the day. Let your stuff ferment overnight, and we'll come back tomorrow and finish up here. So there is a little of that. There's been some time editing to fit the whole competition in an hour. So yes, it probably takes a couple days to get to a competition, but through the magic of editing, it's done in an hour.
Hey, yo, Bunky, I'm building a moonshine distillery. You gonna want some? Yeah, I'm gonna want some. Hi, cool, show.
But I don't know what days it comes on. I just caught it at lunch yesterday. I know Thursday nights they show the new Moonshiners on Discovery. So I don't know if they show it with that or not. I don't know. But
I'm going to make a statement.
Okay.
It's people like you who are the reason the Batgirl movie got canceled. Let me explain.
Well, you're welcome, because that sounds.
Let me explain. HBO Max was gung-ho about new programming. So then this David Zaslav guy took over once the Warner Brothers Discovery merger finished up.
Right.
So now it's Warner Brothers Discovery. Discovery somehow is the bigger bill on this, the bigger draw on this whole thing.
Yeah.
And Zaslav was the head of Discovery and now is the head of Warner Brothers Discovery. And they basically just poo-pooed an entire library of upcoming content that HBO Max was going to release to save money because they lost like $44 billion in this merger. So Zaslav, to save money, they're basically front-loading the new Max, what was HBO Max, with nothing but Discovery content.
I thought Discovery had their own thing.
Discovery did have their own thing until they bought Warner Brothers Media. So now they're merging to one app. All of the Discovery Plus stuff is going to be on Max now.
I didn't buy that one.
And so what I'm saying is, you're the demographic that made it popular.
Good.
Yeah, soak it in.
Now I don't have to pay for Discovery Plus. It's going to give to me.
But it's just...
Well, in all fairness, I don't really watch Discovery that often.
That's the thing.
I haven't watched Moonshiners or any of that stuff in years. Right. I just stumbled upon it yesterday. I do watch the Bush People because my wife was training on that one.
But like Little People, Big World, I've heard you talk about.
My wife watches that
frequently. Or
blame my wife. I'm the one. I wouldn't
blame
watch
my
these.
wife.
I wouldn't watch these on my own.
You're a union, all right? Together, strong.
I would have never watched these on my own. Maybe Amish Mafia would have, but not
another prime example. Yeah, but like that style of show where they even mentioned this in a video I watched. The kind of TV that you can just put on in the background and fold towels, basically.
Now,
you don't have to pay close attention to it.
Now, I'm not at the point, although I'm not proud of this one either. Because TLC, we watch our Little People, whatever, and then they have commercials for like 1,000-Pound Sisters. I don't watch any of those shows. However, my wife and I started watching a couple episodes of that I'm Shauna Ray show.
Oh, no, the little girl, right?
Yeah. She's like 23 or 24, but she thinks she's 7. Yeah, that one. Because it came on after Little People, and there was nothing else on, so we ended up watching it, and then we got wrapped up into it.
Like, I know that my opinion the last time was not a popular one, but it just feels wrong to want to date someone like
it
that.
It doesn't seem natural.
Right.
I know what you're saying.
Now,
love
I'm
is
sort of
but if
familiar.
love is blind, then it's beautiful.
I'm sort of familiar with the condition that she has. It's essentially, I think it's called panhypopituitarism.
Well, I think hers is related to a type of cancer she was diagnosed with as a kid.
Okay.
And the chemo stunted everything, so she, in essence, stopped growing.
See, I
think that's what her situation is.
And this is not going to be a popular, well-received opinion, given what I just said a few minutes ago. I dated a girl with this condition like this when I was in college, and she had very much the same condition where she looked like a little girl. You know, I think hers, she looked like she was about 13, but similar situation where basically she had a tumor, and it ended up affecting her pituitary gland, and she couldn't,
probably very similar.
couldn't grow. But it's something about it just doesn't. I don't know. I mean, the neatness of seeing a 7-year-old at a bar drinking a cocktail, that's going to wear off, and eventually you're just going to get stares from people. As you can't go out in public with your girlfriend in that situation.
What the show kind of like she was like to attest to what you're talking about. The episode we watched the other day was she's trying to go to college for fashion,
right?
And she might be going to college in New York City there. So her and her sister do like a trial stay on their own kind of thing in New York City. My wife's texting me to see what that's about, but hold on, let me finish my story. And so they're kind of on their own. So she has to go out to go grocery shopping. And of course it's in the city, so she walks to the grocery store and gets, but the thing is, she looks like an 8-year-old shopping for groceries, and so people, where's your mom? What's going on here? All that stuff. So, and she kind of breaks down because of, why that, it affects her because she's tired of being treated like a child. So, and so the episode addresses kind of some of the stuff you're talking about. So, but anyway.
I mean, granted, she can't complain too loudly. She gets discounts at every movie she goes to.
According to Kim.
Okay. She gets, that's what it was with the girl I dated too.
Okay.
It was a brain tumor. But she gets discounts for every movie she goes to. She never has to pay full price when she goes to the circus. I mean,
it's called a trade-off.
She's not going to be judged for eating Happy Meals. She probably gets full faster. I'm just saying, you got to take the good with the bad. That's all I'm saying.
Do you think she ever gets served at a bar without any kind of?
That's even with an ID.
I know.
They're scanning it. They're calling. She's calling his manager.
I'm sure it's a harassment every time she tries to do anything adult related.
But everything I've seen it from her or of that series is them sitting around having cocktails.
Right.
Like her and all of her.
Well, see, the smart move for her is to get kind of famous. So now she rolls into these places and be like, oh, no, she is an adult. I saw her show.
But that's the thing is you have to get famous and stay famous.
Yeah.
Like,
Problem is she's on TLC, and let's face it, 100,000 people are going to see that at the end of the day.
That's true. Except for they're all putting it on the background while they fold towels.
Yes. 7:38. Let's do this. Let's pause for news, take a quick break, and then I'll come back and I'll talk about this reality show Special Forces thing because I have thoughts. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Eddy County Commissioners are asking for public input as they try to decide on a final route for Carrasco Road. The road is projected to connect 2 major highways south of Carlsbad. 6 routes have been proposed during a series of meetings last year. Commissioners are trying to narrow that list down. The estimated total cost of the Carrasco Road project is somewhere around $25 million. And with the turn of the calendar page into a new year, new officials are taking office in Eddy County. District 4 County Commissioner James Bowen III, Assessor Rhonda Hatch, and County Clerk Kara Cook all took their oaths of office on Tuesday. Also taking new oaths were District 1 Commissioner Ernie Carlson and Probate Judge Jay Francis, who were re-elected to serve second terms. You're up to date. That's a look at local news headlines. I'm Jared Cirillo reporting.
The annual Consumer Electronics Show opened in Las Vegas this morning. Here's a quick look at what to watch for and what to ignore. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. Let's be clear, the CES is not what it used to be. 20 years ago, consumer tech was exploding. Literally everything was new. That kind of enthusiasm cannot be maintained. Many new products are simply improvements of older tech. The most hype items will include the metaverse, and no one cares. Other devices? There's one that adds odors to VR headsets, or LG's Mood Fridge, a refrigerator that changes color to match your mood, or a pillow to ease anxiety. All of these and 1,000 more dumb ideas are zombie products. They're DOA. So what's hot? Cars. Autos will make up about 25% of CES. And be sure to try my longer daily podcast called Kim Commando Today.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-858-2550 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-858-2550. That's 800-858-2550. What do you have to lose? Call 800-858-2550. Again, 800-858-2550.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure will stay in place over the central and southern Rockies all the way through the weekend, and that means pretty nice weather for us. It'll be mild today, afternoon high in the mid-60s, and we should get sunshine and not too windy. For the overnight hours, a few clouds and mid-30s, and then close to 70 and sunny on Friday. We're in the low 60s with sunshine Saturday and Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Late arriving scores from Tuesday. Boys basketball, both Roswell and Goddard win. Roswell 87-61 over Lovington. The Coyotes are now 8-6 overall, trailed by 2 at halftime, but that victory makes it 4 in a row. Roswell next in action Friday at 6:30 against a Mayfield team that comes in with a 2-11 record. Goddard, meanwhile, disposes of Dexter, no problems. 71-32. The Rockets are now 4-8 on the season, having won 3 in a row. They will be part of what's called the North-South Shootout starting today in Artesia. This is a rotating round-robin tournament. Next year, Taos will host it. But Goddard will take on will take on Belen today at 4 o'clock, and then Los Alamos Friday, Taos on Saturday. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. U.S. job openings fell less than expected in November as the labor market remains tight, which could see the Federal Reserve boosting interest rates to a higher level than currently anticipated to tame inflation. U.S. companies from tech majors to consumer firms are bracing for a potential economic downturn by shrinking their employee base to streamline operations. Job cuts announced by U.S.-based employers jumped 13% to 33,843 in October last year, the highest since February 2021. General Motors reclaimed the top spot in U.S. auto sales from rival Toyota in 2022, as it was able to better meet strong demand for cars and trucks despite industry-wide supply disruptions. GM touted its strength in the pickup SUV market with 1.1 million full-size pickups, mid-size pickups, and full-size SUVs sold in 2022. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Jennifer from Trustmark Roofing here, and I can tell you it's not always easy being a female in a male-dominated business like roofing. I remember one time I was at a meeting to bid on the roof for a local college, and it was me and 13 men. Well, I won that bid, and I'd like to win your business too. My dad was a contractor, and I've been around building and roofing my whole life. I'm licensed and bonded, and I've forgotten more about roofing than most roofers ever knew in the first place. But what really sets Trustmark apart is an obsessive attention to detail that ensures that everything goes smoothly the first time. I promise we will treat you right with respect and we will make you happy. So yeah, it might be a bit odd for a woman to own a roofing company, but give us a try. Let us give you an estimate for your roof. I think you'll be glad you called. For all your roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Here to help you breathe easy. That's what you can expect from Artesia General Hospital's cardiopulmonary and respiratory therapy team, both literally and figuratively. From innovative treatments for lung cancer and COVID-19 to management for everyday breathing problems like asthma and bronchitis, our care for acute and chronic conditions is unmatched in southeast New Mexico, and the compassion of our caregivers offers peace of mind with each visit. Get the help you need for chronic respiratory conditions. Call 575-748-3333 or visit artesiageneral.com/respiratory.
As you begin this new year, you may have plans to get in better shape. That's a very good thing to do. I believe God wants us to take care of the body that He's given us to best serve Him. However, I think it's even more important to get our spiritual lives in good shape. That can be more challenging than physical exercise. Just like you need a plan to exercise, you need a plan to grow your spiritual life. Use a calendar or a journal, get a daily Bible reading plan, set an alarm on your phone, and take some time to read scripture and pray. Find a friend that'll partner with you so that you can keep each other accountable for not only daily Bible study, but for prayer as well. Just like you must discipline your physical body by building good habits, you must do the same thing with your spiritual body. At first, it may seem like you have to make yourself do these things, but believe me, once you get into that routine, you won't want to miss it, and you'll feel a true loss when you do. Give it a try. I promise it'll make a positive difference in your life.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
2022 was a roller coaster year for your Roswell Coyotes and Goddard Rockets, and KSVPTV.com is your home for every second of the action throughout the 2022 season. Relive all the game-changing plays and the players that made it a season for the books. Simply click on the Roswell Coyotes or Goddard Rockets tab at KSVPTV.com and get ready to dive into a season of memories made and victories won. KSVPTV.com, your official home for all things Coyotes and Rockets and Southeastern New Mexico's Sports Authority.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The ball on top of a flagpole is called a truck. Mess with your friends today by pointing at a flagpole and say, "Hey, check out the truck on top of that flagpole." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:47. So as I promised, we were talking television, all that. So last night, Fox premiered a show, and it was a 2-hour premiere last night. And there was nothing else on TV last night unless you wanted to watch like Bachelorette or something. And I have some standards. But
come on, Mike. We know you don't. We all know you don't.
So the show, it's called Special Forces, the Ultimate Test or Journey.
World's toughest. Hang on. World's toughest test.
Yeah, that's it. And it features 16 celebrities.
I mean,
actors,
celebrities.
Well, some are. I heard of some. So
okay,
that says something.
I'm clicking on some of these names to figure out who they are.
All right, I got the
one
list
for
here.
example. Hannah Brown is only famous or a celebrity because she was on a season of The Bachelor, which then became The Bachelorette.
Yes,
she became The Bachelorette. But so you're only famous for being a hot girl amongst hot girls.
Some are like that. But some aren't. Like Dwight Howard's one.
Sure.
NBA star. Retired. Also Danny Amendola. Remember him? NFL wide receiver. I believe he played for the Cowboys.
I'm gonna tell you the name that's the most familiar
Patriots, I think,
to me on this list is Jamie Lynn Spears.
Mel B's on there. Spice Girl.
No, is she? I didn't see her on there.
Yeah, Mel B's on there.
Where?
The Hannah Brown, the Bachelorette you're talking about. Tyler Florence, celebrity chef. He's a Food Network guy.
Okay.
The one thing I remember him from. Do you know the show where they do the food truck competition where the teams like get a food truck and then they travel around the country and compete, and at the end the winning team wins the food truck and all that? He hosted that show.
Okay.
But he's also done other celebrity stuff.
Carly Lloyd.
Let's see. Kate Gosselin, Johnny Kate plus 8. Remember them?
Oh, wait. Where are you seeing these? Because I'm looking at this list right here, and none of those are on there.
Well, they're on there. I watched the show. Kate Gosselin's one. Singer Montel Jordan.
Yeah, I saw Montel.
Skier, this is one I don't know. Skier Gus Kenworthy. Olympic gold medalist Natasha Lukin. Olympic gold medalist Carly Lloyd. These are the ones I don't know.
Carly Lloyd was a soccer player.
Beverly Mitchell. She was an actress. She was a child actress. She did like a show that I never watched, Seventh Heaven or something like that.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Hang on. Let me, because I'm trying to find this list because I don't have any of the half the people you're talking about.
And I got a couple more while you're looking.
Okay.
Real Housewife from Atlanta star Kenya Moore. Mike Piazza, former catcher, Major League Baseball player. Dr. Drew Pinsky. Dr. Drew. White House Communications Director for like 9 days, Anthony Scaramucci. And Jamie Lynn Spears, actress / songwriter.
Right.
So it's a fairly...
I'm trying to find... Who was the actress you said from...
Beverly Mitchell.
Oh, my gosh. Is that who I think it is?
She was from Seventh Heaven.
Yeah, that's... If it's who I think it is...
She's like 41 now. So she was a child when this went down. And she was on that show.
Well, I think it's the chick I had a massive crush on. Yep. It's Lucy. I was in love.
I never watched the show. I don't know.
I watched Seventh Heaven just for Lucy.
Oh.
I was madly in love with this chick for the entire run of Seventh Heaven. Yeah, so that's good. That's cool. That's good to know.
Well,
she's still doing stuff.
So the whole premise of the show is these 16 celebrities are put through some of the training that Special Forces troops go through.
Right.
Folks that aspire to be in things like the Navy SEALs and, Delta Force and the various other elite forces that are around the world. Some of the training that they do. It's a reality show, but it's not a game show in the way that you don't vote off people.
Right. They're not competing for anything.
They basically quit or medically have to leave.
It's kind of like that. Do you remember several years ago, they did a show where celebrities became actual police officers, like for this town in like Louisiana?
Is that the one that Jack?
Wee Man was on there.
Yeah, Jack Osborne.
Yeah, Jack Osborne. Yeah, Steven Seagal.
Chips Ponch was on there.
Ponch was on there. Yeah,
I remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's very much in that vein. Like there's nothing really on the line. It's just putting celebrities into these situations.
Well, and that's the thing. It's if you want to, if you think that's what Special Forces training is like, what they're doing, think again. That's Club Med version of it.
Well, sure, because they're not getting screamed at and forced to do it over and over again.
It's. But that being said, they're doing really scary things, and they're doing at least something like one of the things they had to do was they're in the body of water, some kind of sea or ocean. I'm not sure which it is, but it's a big body of water like that. They're in a helicopter, and they basically are about 12 feet above the water, and they have to basically do a free fall out the helicopter into the water backwards.
Yeah.
Like they cross your arms and just fall back into the water. And you have to do it correctly. You can't just fall in. You've got to do it correctly or you fail.
Well, it's like taking a bump in wrestling. Head to the tuck your head in. You got to like put your arms out, I'm guessing, to maximize the amount of spread the amount of surface area.
Yeah. So what they're doing is hard and demanding and very difficult, but in terms of is it in the style of actual training? No. They don't let you just lounge around leisurely sitting while things are going on. Because in all fairness, we see it in the hour or 2 hours, but it's literally all day of doing that one thing because there's only one at a time on the helicopter. There's 16 of them. You got to reset it every time to do all this. So it probably takes an hour to 2 hours to get one person through that, and then they got to, you know what I mean?
It's like if you ever watch
there's a lot of hurry up and wait.
You ever watch Fear Factor? They'll do those, like they'll bring people in the helicopter one at a time. It's like, it takes like a good 30, 45 minutes between those, plus fueling and making sure, going through protocols. There's a whole process.
Now, the couple of things I do like it, because obviously the team that they have are all retired Special Force people and things like that, and guys that train these people and all that, and they're the real deal. But what I like about them is obviously they're nice for the whole television thing, but you can tell that these guys literally most of them have no clue who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
Like they might know like a little bit about Dwight Howard, or they'll know a little bit about like Jamie Lynn Spears. One of them, he was like, now I see it. I can see her sister's face in there. Right? Like they have no clue who these people are, which is an asset here because that means that there's no awe factor. They're going to treat them how they would any schmo out there, you know? And so, which I kind of dig. Now they know that they're celebrities and they got to kid glove them a little bit. But by the way, and that's the thing. You kind of the whole premise. It's more of a we're just watching an extreme mental health thing for these celebrities.
You know what it is?
It's them overcoming these hurdles and things and trying to overcome their fears or whatever it is.
And there's been an example of this pretty much throughout the entirety of TV history. But for my generation, it was Circus of the Stars.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was David Hasselhoff doing a trapeze act for some reason with the chick from Knots Landing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was that. So it's basically celebrities doing weird, crazy things for obviously for amusement, but for them to like, you know, show off a special talent or whatever. Essentially, shows like this exist so that agents can get a paycheck.
Sure.
So I feel like they were like, you know, we represent all these no names who are Beverly Mitchell. What's she been in 15 years? But she got a phone call, you know, and that's
what I wonder is some of the celebrities, like some they probably like you know, I'm thinking like guys like Dwight Howard and you know, I think guys like that they had to twist. I mean, he's gung ho and does it, but someone like him, I think they try to lure. Someone like Beverly Mitchell probably reached out. Yeah. And when you listen to them and they ask like their reasons, because at the end of the day, they all have reasons for being there, and it's not like my agent said I should do this. It's each of them have demons. You know, Mel B talking about her abusive relationships, and Dwight Howard, the fact that, you know, why were you hated so much by everybody? What are you doing to cause that? And so they're, you know, I get they need a paycheck, but at some point, no one's going to sit there and put themselves through that on public television,
right?
You know,
that's true.
And so I yes and no. I can see that to a point, but at the end of the day, I think it is really fixing some of the, or at least trying to attempt to with some of these folks and overcome their demons and things. And to be honest, none of them are at the point where they're problem people. You know, they're not in TMZ all the time beating people up and none of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it's entertaining, and the fact that it's neat to see people overcome challenges like the what's her name there, Brown there, not Hannah Brown, Beverly Mitchell. She's a little tiny thing.
Yeah.
And like they do one thing that's kind of interesting is over the course of different events and things, they have them all line up and say, all right, let's rank y'all selves, line up on who's the strongest and the weakest, and they go from strongest to weakest
based on what you think.
Yeah, and what the group thinks. And you know, the first time they did it, Dwight Howard was like at the front because he nailed the one thing and did all that, and they're like, yeah, he's good. Well, the next contest he failed big time, and so he went, and it's kind of opposite. The little girl that you're talking about, who's the weakest, she failed miserably the first time.
Sure,
she was one of the few that completed the next task. So she was like, and that's
she
kind
felt
of the
the need
stuff.
to push herself a little
And what
harder.
they do is they do a deal where like they have little therapy sessions with them, and so they treat it like a hostage situation. So they'll call one of them out, and they do by numbers. They're all given a number.
Okay.
It's like 13. 13 comes running out, and it's Mel B or whatever it is. And then they put a hood over their head and take them into like an interrogating room, and then they do almost like therapy session with them. And I will tell you this. 16 celebrities started in the first 2 hours show. 2 or 3 are gone already.
Okay.
2 or 3 are gone already. One, matter of fact.
Go ahead and spoil it. It's fine.
Tyler Florence. He kind of looks like a guy that's all bark and no bite.
That was the chef?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he's all bark and no bite after all that. I saw his bite ain't that. He weaked out early.
Dang.
He tried to blame it on his family, and that's BS. He just got scared and didn't want to do
Dad.
it. He just got scared and didn't want to do it. because what his thing was irrational. He chickened himself out, which is fine. But he was kind of being braggadocious, and he got knocked down a peg real quick. So anybody that's braggadocious like that early always get blown up first. Just know that, people. Youngins that are braggadocious, you better back it up because you're going to get blown up first.
I'm watching him make a tagliatelle bolognese.
Yes.
Looks like
he don't miss meals. All right, it's 8 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Lawmakers on Capitol Hill gearing up for a 7th vote on Congressman Kevin McCarthy's bid to become the next Speaker of the House. Following 6 failed votes, McCarthy met with his detractors and has reportedly made some more concessions.
The House adjourned at 8:30 p.m. Wednesday night after a 6th failed attempt to select a Speaker of the House. The body returns at noon in an effort to select a leader and proceed with the business of starting the 118th Congress. Republican leader Kevin McCarthy is still in the hunt for votes to give him the majority he needs to become the next Speaker. 2 African-American colleagues, Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries of New York and Republican Byron Donalds of Florida, are also in the running. As the weekend approaches, House Democrats have been asked to stay in Washington in an effort to make sure that all votes are counted. Bernie Bennett, Capitol Hill.
As a powerful storm hammers the state, evacuations have been ordered in a high-risk coastal area of California where mudslides killed 23 people in 2018. Pat King lives in Pacifica and hopes he'll be able to continue to call it home.
We're scared. We're getting more sandbags and just buckling down the best we can.
San Francisco Mayor London Breed says the rain is relentless.
It's coming down hard, and it's not letting up anytime soon.
Raising fears of flooding and mudslides. 8 people, including 5 children, have been found fatally shot in southern Utah, said to be members of the same family, found in a home in Enoch, about 245 miles south of Salt Lake City. Enoch City manager Rob Dotson says at the moment there's a lot authorities don't know.
It's going to take hours and hours and hours to make a determination of what happened inside this home.
And there's been nothing yet on a possible motive. The suspect in the brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students, now back in Idaho to face charges. Ryan Koberger may have a court appearance today. The Dow down 366 points. NASDAQ is off 116. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I'm Lance Wallnau, Christian author and evangelical leader, here to remind you that God's gifts should never be taken for granted. Take, for example, your retirement savings. You've worked hard for your money, and God has rewarded you for that. Now, with record inflation eating away at the value of the U.S. dollar, those rewards are literally being taken from you. But there is a way the faithful can fight back. By diversifying your retirement account into gold, your savings can be protected. And that's what God wants. Even better, a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group allows you to transfer your current retirement funds into gold without fees or penalties. To see how it works, text the word FAITH to 989898 to get a free info kit on gold IRAs. That's FAITH to 989898. Take action right now, and I pray that your family is blessed with continued prosperity.
One of the winners of last year's Nobel Peace Prize has gone on trial in Belarus.
The Nobel Peace Prize committee was in no doubt. Awarding the prize to Ales Bialyatsky, they described him as someone who devoted his life to promoting democracy. But Mr. Bialyatsky wasn't around to receive the award in person. He's been held in a Belarus prison since being arrested last July, along with 2 other members of the campaign group he founded. Vyasna has long been a thorn in the side of the Belarusian government, monitoring the arrest and torture of other human rights protesters. If found guilty, the 3 men face up to 12 years in prison.
The BBC's Paul Moss. Afghanistan's ruling Taliban claims to have killed 8 ISIS terrorists while arresting 9 others in a series of raids targeting key figures in a spate of attacks in Kabul. A Taliban official says the raids in the capital city and western Nimruz province targeted ISIS members. Townhall.com. It's called Mohs surgery. First Lady Jill Biden will undergo the procedure as doctors remove a small lesion from above her right eye.
The lesion was discovered during a routine skin cancer screening, and presidential physician Dr. Kevin O'Connor says the 71-year-old First Lady will undergo the outpatient procedure next Wednesday at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland. Doctors recommended that the lesion be removed during what O'Connor describes as a common outpatient procedure. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The mastermind of the nationwide college admissions bribery scheme that ensnared celebrities, prominent business people, and other parents has been sentenced to 3.5 years in prison. Rick Singer's punishment is the longest sentence handed down in the scandal, which came to light in 2019. On Wall Street, the S&P 34 points lower. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce?
Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I just found out my 80s rock star name is Blue Potato.
Blue Potato.
Yeah, the color of your underwear plus the last thing you ate. My drawers are blue. I had a loaded baked potato for dinner last night. That was the last thing I ate. So, Blue Potato it is.
Black Nugget.
Good thing I have fish.
Black fish stick.
Well, happy Thursday, everybody. I hope all of you are having a delightful day so far. We're going to replay an interview this hour. Yesterday, we had Andrew Moore join us from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce in the 7 o'clock hour. Give us an update. They got a big informational meeting coming up this Friday. They want to tell everybody about when it comes to the housing, PIMA, whatever it's called here, or whatever. I can't. My brain is not working well right now.
Sure.
But we'll play that interview. Talk about that. Talk about some other things going on. So we'll play that for you this hour.
Indeed.
Yeah. There's something else I was going to mention. I can't remember what it was.
I can't disclose yet how I came across the thing that I came across, but I managed to get my hands on a candy bar yesterday.
Okay.
That I've been trying to get a hold of for at least a calendar year.
All right. Is it like one you'd see in grocery store shelves?
Sure isn't.
Or is it
It's Australian.
Okay.
And I discovered this candy bar several years ago at a candy store in Albuquerque called Lolly and Pops.
Okay.
It's called Violet Crumble.
Violet Crumble.
Violet.
Oh,
Crumble.
Violent.
No, violet, like the color. Violet.
Violet. Okay.
Crumble.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it's a honeycomb candy.
Okay.
Now it's not what you're thinking when I say honeycomb. Okay, it's honeycomb is different in like Australia and other countries. It's like this. It's the only way I can describe it is it's kind of like the inside of a Whopper, but not as airy, and it shatters. Like when you bite into it, it like breaks.
Okay.
And it is one of the best candy bar like flavors I've ever had in my entire life. I got hooked on these.
Okay.
But they're incredibly expensive and they're very hard to find.
And you procured some?
I found a local connection.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, would you mind getting one to try?
I'm definitely going to get one to try on the radio.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I had to, and I was toying with it yesterday. I had it sitting there in my passenger seat. I'm like, do I save this for the radio? No.
Yeah.
No, I
you
don't.
You've been on a quest.
No, I don't.
You're on a quest for these
I've
things.
been hurting for this thing for a long time.
I know.
The depressing thing was, it was much smaller than I was expecting, but it was enough. It was
just ballpark curious. What do they charge for one of these candy bars?
$3 for a candy bar like that big.
All right.
Now, granted, shipping, international and stuff like that, that's a hassle.
That thing's got a passport. But yeah.
I'm very, 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 very much trying to get these people on with us so that we can freely discuss them. But
okay.
But yeah, I was very happy when I got hold of that, and it was one of those things where it's like it almost lived up to the expectation, but not quite. Like I built it up in my head after those first couple. It was good. It just wasn't quite the same. I think I might know why too.
I think of all people, you need to bucket list a trip to Australia in your.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Yeah, in your lifetime, you
I am
need to go.
enthused about much of the stuff from that country.
I'd love to go back. That's one thing I'd like to go back to. I was a teenager when I did it, and it was the 80s. I'd like to go back in my older brain and take it
and experience it.
Yeah.
That being said, there's a lot about Australia that actually scares the ever-loving bejesus out of me.
Well, like what?
Like the fact that they have gigantic spiders the size of hubcaps. And they just randomly walk. No, I've seen this on TikTok. People will just be like posting TikToks and they'll just show a spider just walking along on the wall and they're just hanging out.
Well,
and they jump.
Yeah. Australia does have interesting wildlife. Most of it is in the outback, not where the people live.
Right.
The people either live on the East Coast or the West Coast. No one lives in the middle. Most live on the East Coast. Perth is the one West Coast city that's a big deal. But for the most part, the middle, no one lives in. It's all outback. But and that's where all the. But yes, by the way, I think there's 7 different types of poisonous snakes in the world. Australia is the only continent home to all 7.
So you take the good with the bad.
Right.
Sure, they've got fantastic candy bars in Bluey, but they've also got all of the venom.
Yeah. I mean, like other continents will have some of them. Like North America has several, but not all 7. Australia's got them all. Whatever the categories of the 7 are, they got them all.
What was that movie? Oh my God! What was that movie where?
Crocodile Dundee.
No. Water moccasins. What was that? Oh, it was from the.
Was that Up a Creek or Without a Paddle or whatever that movie was called?
It's hang on. And then people are screaming at their radios right now.
I do remember it. I just don't remember what movie it's from.
Was it Doc Hollywood? No.
I'm trying to think. What something 80s or 90s.
Lonesome Dove.
Oh.
Lonesome Dove. That's what it was.
Which Lonesome Dove? The movie or one of the shows?
It's the movie, I think. It's where he goes into water. Water moccasins! And it's just like a bunch of water moccasins coming at him.
Because that Lonesome Dove, the movie series, it's like 11 hours long or something.
It was a mini series, right? It was like Roots.
Yeah.
Which that was a big thing back in that era.
Well, I'd never seen it. And then about 15 years ago, we were taking a trip with the family to I think the Mexico house or whatever. And it was around the time where they got a vehicle that had a DVD player, and that was like a big deal. And so we had we could watch movies on the way, and because I wasn't driving none, I was just sitting in the back like a child, but I wasn't. And someone said, you need to watch. So we literally rented the Lonesome Dove, and my entire trip to Mexico was watching Lonesome Dove.
Oh, wow.
And so that's the last time I've seen it. It was 12 hours of car sitting and watching Lonesome Dove. So anyway.
Yeah, definitely a trip to Australia should be in the.
I would definitely get you to get because and I'm lucky. I'm very lucky, but I was one of the few too that got to actually go see the Sydney Opera House and see a performance in it.
Oh wow!
We got to go by it and see it, but we really didn't go in it. And then that night they had a concert, and I think 30 of us ended up buying tickets for it and all that. So I saw the orchestra do something in the opera. It wasn't an opera. It was the Sydney Orchestra doing a performance. Nice. It was around the holidays because it was Christmas time, so they had a Christmas show that they did there, and we watched it. So it was really nice.
Very cool.
But it's weird experiencing Christmas when it's like 100 out, in the summer, because it's summer in Australia when it's there. And and the part of Sydney and all that, it's usually pretty warm all the time there. It's not, obviously the northern parts of the continent are warmer.
Closer to the equator, yeah, for
the
sure.
southern ones, like Tasmania and all that, they get cold. They got penguins and stuff down there because it's closer to the South Pole. But yeah, anyway, it's a really cool. But yeah, you got to get used to everything being on the other side because it's driving, everything's on the other side. The
water
spins the other way.
Differently in the toilet,
because of the gravitational pull, and everything's opposite. Summer's winter, winter, summer. And
I want to go to, what's on your bucket list? Well, I want to go to Australia just to flush a toilet.
Yeah.
Scratch that one off.
But the first time I saw penguins in their natural habitat in the whole thing in an Arctic lake was in Australia.
That's
when
cool.
I went to this reserve they had down
I've
there.
never seen penguins in their natural habitat.
Oh, it was really cool, the cliffs and everything, and it was the summer, but it was still cold and frosty there. It wasn't like tundra, but it was nasty.
Right.
It was kind of like a London fog morning type, that kind of feel. Gordon's Fisherman, storms coming, that feel to it.
Right.
So, and then
murky
penguins.
kind of.
Yeah.
Murky and penguins.
All right, we're going to play our interview with Andrew Moore from the Chamber, but first, let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure will stay in place over the central and southern Rockies all the way through the weekend, and that means pretty nice weather for us. It'll be mild today, afternoon high in the mid-60s, and we should get sunshine and not too windy. For the overnight hours, a few clouds and mid-30s, and then close to 70 and sunny on Friday. We're in the low 60s with sunshine Saturday and Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 36 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 55%. Winds currently out of the west at 5 miles per hour. Sunny today, 62 the high. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10. Tonight, mostly clear. Overnight low of 36 degrees with southwest winds and around 5 miles per hour. For you Friday, bust out the shorts. It's going to be warm tomorrow. Sunny and 72 for a high. Winds will be out of the west, 5 to 15. Friday night, mostly clear with an overnight low of 34 degrees and northwest winds at around 10 miles per hour. Saturday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies, 61 for a high. Northwest winds at around 5 to 10. For Sunday, we're looking at sunny skies, highs near 60. So pretty nice weekend, pretty nice next couple days here, with tomorrow being just downright warm. All right, it is 17 minutes after 8. We're going to take a 2.5-minute commercial break, and then we're going to play our interview with Andrew Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
The best burrito in the game just got a brand new location. Burritos and More, now open at 2506 North Main, across from Goodwill in Roswell. So what makes Burritos and More the best burrito in the game? It's simple. The freshest ingredients, homemade tortillas, and a huge menu chock full of all your breakfast and lunch favorites. Plus, enchiladas, fajitas, quesadillas, combo platters, and so much more. Open Monday through Saturday, 6 to 2 at 127 South Richardson and at their brand new location, 2506 North Main, across from Goodwill in Roswell. Burritos and More, the best burrito in the game.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price, and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For an estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
As you begin this new year, you may have plans to get in better shape. That's a very good thing to do. I believe God wants us to take care of the body that He's given us to best serve Him. However, I think it's even more important to get our spiritual lives in good shape. That can be more challenging than physical exercise. Just like you need a plan to exercise, you need a plan to grow your spiritual life. Use a calendar or a journal, get a daily Bible reading plan, set an alarm on your phone, and
take some time to read Scripture and pray. Find a friend that'll partner with you so that you can keep each other accountable for not only daily Bible study, but for prayer as well. Just like you must discipline your physical body by building good habits, you must do the same thing with your spiritual body. At first, it may seem like you have to make yourself do these things, but believe me, once you get into that routine, you won't want to miss it, and you'll feel a true loss when you do. Give it a try. I promise it'll make a positive difference in your life.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Slugs have 4 noses, but no fingers to pick them. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 8 o'clock. Here in just a second, we'll get our interview going with Angie Moore from the Roswell Chamber. But before we do that, I do want to remind you that folks in Artesia, if you'd like to donate blood and give the sweet gift of life by donating blood, your first opportunity in 2023 will take place next Wednesday, January 11th. They're going to be at Hotel Artesia there in the meeting room from 1:30 to 5:30. Everybody that donates blood that day will get a $10 gift card for a $10 Amazon gift card. And so, not that you need that to donate, but it's a little sweet added as a thank you for donating your blood and your time. They're giving you a $10 gift card for Amazon there. To sign up, easiest thing you can do is call 575-840-8178. Again, that's 575-840-8178 to get an appointment with Stephanie. And then if it's your first time donating, she'll give you a link. You can go online and you can pre-register if you want, save you a little time. If not, you can do it all there at the blood drive. But if you're kind of busy and don't really have time and you want to save some time, you can get to pre-register. Now, if you're a regular, it's just kind of signing in and doing all that. But if it's a first-time donor, then you want to probably do that early, save you a little bit of time. Or if you haven't donated in a while. All right, but again, that's Wednesday, January 11th, from 1:30 to 5:30 for in Artesia there at Hotel Artesia. That's the next opportunity for you guys to donate blood. All right, it is 21 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's go ahead and play this interview we had yesterday in the 7 o'clock hour. Angie Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. Enjoy. And good morning. It is 19 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce, Roswell, New Mexico Chamber of Commerce, Angie Moore joining us in studio this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy 2023.
That's right.
How was New Year's at your house?
It was quiet.
Good.
I have officially crossed over to old people status.
Nice.
Welcome
to the club.
Right? At 10 o'clock, I was like, woohoo, Happy New Year's.
Right. Did you make it to midnight?
No.
I made it to midnight. 12:01, I was out like a light.
Yeah,
but,
no.
I didn't even watch the ball drop or anything. I was just watching like Letterkenny or something like that.
Yeah, no.
We went
to bed.
I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah, we went to bed. Now, the kids went out, of course, and they went and did kid stuff. My son went to Carlsbad and hung out with his buddies down there.
Nice.
Gabby went and hung out with her boyfriend and his family. And then my daughter Grace went and hung out with her friends, but then called me at 1 o'clock in the morning and was like, okay, everybody's still awake and I'm really tired. Can you come get me? And I was like, yes, meet me at the door because I'm in my PJs.
Right. Well, good. Well, it sounds like everybody had a good time, and those who wanted to do something did something.
Absolutely.
Those who didn't.
Yes. Well, because we had just gotten back from our adventures from coming back from out of town. We went to Georgia to go see my husband's family.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic trip. Georgia's beautiful as always.
What part of Georgia?
1 hour south of Atlanta in LaGrange.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Was the weather pretty warm down there?
It was beautiful. Well, the first day we got there, it was cold.
Was it?
Because we were right behind that storm that blew through. So it was really, really cold. But then the rest of the time, it was gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really around that first of the year, around that, it's like nice and 70, 75.
It was beautiful.
Georgia, Florida area is pretty nice, especially the southern part of Georgia. Yeah.
But our flight got delayed leaving Atlanta. So we missed our connection in Dallas, spent the night in Dallas. So we got home New Year's Eve instead of the day before. So, of course, we got home took a nap, and then my kids all left. And I think that's part of the reason why my Grace was like, well, I'm kind of tired. I kind of want to come home.
To be honest, I'm impressed you made it till 10 o'clock after a year and all.
Well, I was looking up. I'm like, what is the first country to celebrate New Year's?
Yeah.
Okay, Happy New Year's.
Yeah.
And my kids were like, Mom, that's not flying. They're like, we can understand you celebrating New York time, but noon, no, that's not okay.
I remember when I was a teenager, and I've told this before, when I was in the Boy Scouts, I got to go to Australia, World Jamboree. Well, I was there December, January, so I was there for New Year's, Christmas, and all that.
Cool.
And so on New Year's, I remember calling my house, my family, and everything, and phone cards back then. But and travelers checks and phone cards, very weird. But anyway, and I called them, and it was New Year's Day in Australia. It was obviously because of the time zones and everything. It was still 20, whatever it had been 1987. It was still 1987.
Wow.
And where my parents are at, and I was in 1988. So I called from the future 1 year. 1 year, 87, 88. I called because I was in Australia, and I called back home.
That's how fun.
Yeah, it was cool. So, of course, new year.
Yes.
New, I'm sure, and of course means new things on the horizon for the Chamber of Commerce here. Now we're getting into 2023 with a lot of kind of the prospect of getting new opportunities and things for businesses and entities here to be a part.
Absolutely. So to recap real quickly, in 2022, the Roswell Chamber of Commerce fielded thousands of phone calls for tourism and people that wanted to move or were interested in moving to the area. So we fielded those calls and then made those relocation packets. And when we did our calculations, we filled out and mailed out just short of 1,000 relocation packets about the area.
That's a good sign.
Heck yeah. So it's been busy. We've got our brand new website that is running very well. We're getting brand new members that are able to sign up online and pay online.
Nice.
So just about every day we're checking, and there's something new in there. Please be checking our website, roswellnm.org.
And by the way, if you're a chamber member or potential chamber member, a lot of new resources available to you that, again, it's included as part of your membership as being a chamber.
Yes.
So.
And if you don't know how something works, call us and let us know, because we're learning some of the new tools and stuff, and we can kind of help you out, give you tips, tricks on how to make it work better for you.
If you're a small business and a chamber member or would like to be one, marketing tools, things like that, stuff that you probably don't have the money to invest into, even though you should, because every business needs that kind of marketing and stuff. But I get it, especially new businesses,
Exactly.
You're trying to figure all that out. Well, take advantage of all the free advertising you can get. And with your chamber membership, that a lot of that's included.
Exactly. And we are learning all about our MIC, which is the specific login for each member gets their own unique username and password to be able to log in to the system. They can go in and do anything from changing personnel and their contact information, so that way we know that we're all up to date and we can contact you when needed, all the way down to being able to post if you're hiring, if you've got a hot deal that's going on, whether you're a real estate agent or just somebody that's got a cool little knick-knack or widget, as I call everything, and say what's going on and be able to blast it out. We've got Facebook, we've got LinkedIn, we've got Instagram, in addition to our website, and we really are working hard at keeping everything up to date. We have our community calendar, where we are really doing a pretty good job of keeping that up to date and current. We've got everything on there, from county commission and city council meetings and committee meetings to, the little concerts in the park or, First Fridays that the Main Street Roswell does things like that we're always looking on other people's Facebook pages. We're looking through the newspaper. And of course, when our members contact us, that gets precedent and we put that on there. So please go check that out as well.
And then if you don't get them, which, as a chamber member, you get them. But if you currently don't get on a list and would like to, we get our email blasts at that every Friday.
Correct.
Usually Friday, yeah. We'll go out and kind of talk, and it's kind of a reminder, hey, all these things that are on the calendar, it's kind of a reminder, hey, don't forget these things are this weekend.
Yep.
Get on out there. Or these things are coming up next week. Get on out there.
Exactly.
So please reach out to the chamber, and that way you can get on that list. So every Friday you get that email with all of the happenings and
Absolutely.
things around
And we
town, too.
really are doing a good job of making sure that everything is linked appropriately. So, for example, if you want to go to the Spencer Theater and watch one of their wonderful shows for this season, you can see what's going on when it is, and you can click on it, and it will take you immediately to the appropriate page to be able to buy the tickets. And the same with any of the other events. If there's a city council meeting, you'll be able to go click on the city council meeting, and it'll take you directly to the page so you can look at the agenda if there's something you're interested in. County commission, school board, all of those things. We really are working hard to make sure that all of our links are working. So if you do happen to click on the calendar or something in our email and there's a broken link, let us know. Because sometimes it works on our end, and whatever happens in the universe when you hit send.
Android will take it, but Apple won't, and Microsoft likes it, but I get you.
So just let us know, and we'll make those changes. If you are a member, send us your information. We're happy to stick it in our weekly email.
Absolutely.
We try really hard to have that email go out around lunchtime. Sometimes we do get it out Thursday if for some reason we're not going to be in the office
holiday
on
or whatever.
Friday. But typically around lunchtime on Friday is when the weekly email goes out. And of course, we want to keep our calendar updated, which then brings me to Friday at 5 p.m. at the chamber. We're having an MIRP MERP meeting. It's fully informational. As of right now, the chamber does not have a stance, pro or con. We are reaching out to the community.
Remind folks, in case they're wondering what the MIRP is.
So the MIRP is the resolution that City Council has been talking about.
It's
and
been a hot
considering.
button issue right now.
It really has been, where developers can go in and develop an area, and there is up to, I believe it's $10,000 per lot up north, and then I think there's more money if you're a developer down south, so north of 2nd, south of 2nd, and this is supposed to help developers develop and build new homes.
Gotcha.
And so when they put in the infrastructure, the roads, the curbing, the sewer, all of that stuff, the resolution says that they will get up to a certain amount of money per lot once it is sold and occupied.
Gotcha.
And
so it's an incentive for them to set up shop.
It is built to be that way. I've gone to different committee meetings. I've gone to the city council meetings. And so there's been some back and forth on, is it really good? Is it not really good?
The devil's in the details.
And so I told city council, I've told the developers, I'm willing to have a meeting. Let's get the community in. Let's tell the community what this is, and then get the community's feedback and say, is this something that you guys are really for? Is it something that you're not for? And then
so this is really an informational meeting to kind of give you the intricacies and break it down, and let's weigh the pros, let's weigh the cons, and let's take a look at and put that out there, and then let people decide which direction they think our city should go in. And then of course let your city councilor know as such, and send him an email or professionally, of course, and tell him, hey, I went to the informational meeting on this, and based on what I saw, I'm for it or I'm against it.
Exactly. And it's a time for the community to ask their questions. We're going to have Kevin Mavers there to answer questions. I've reached out to the mayor, to the the interim city manager, a variety of city councilors. Now, of course, there can only be so many city councilors in one place.
Before
Otherwise,
it's considered a quorum and a meeting and everything else. Yeah.
So we have.
Can we put them in booths and like separate them and say they're
with their headphones?
They're all
you
different rooms. They're in a different room.
And then, of course, we've reached out to some of the developers so we'll have both sides of the coin to be able to give that information. The city can give their information. I've reached out to the city attorney as well so they can give the legal information.
Which is the part where probably most of the questions lie is what's our legalities here? What, are we doing something that's going to get us in trouble down the road? What are we doing here?
Exactly. Yeah. How can we work? Is it able to work? Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then talk to the developers and see what they say as well. And then I will be more than happy to take that information to the next city council meeting, which is next week, and say, hey, on behalf of all of our members, on behalf of the community, I represent X amount of people that came to our meeting, and this is what they said.
Good deal. So, again, the meeting is at the chamber this Friday.
5 p.m.
5 p.m. Do they need to RSVP or just come on out?
Well, we have limited seating,
Sure.
So RSVPing would be helpful to just make sure I have enough seats.
But if you space.
But if you space and you just show up at 5 p.m., and I understand it's Friday, we try not to have these types of meetings on Fridays, but
We're kind of behind the 8 ball here.
Well, and coming out of the holidays with Christmas and New Year's being right in between these particular two city council meetings,
Sure.
it really just didn't work any other day than Friday because I wanted to have some time to digest this information before city council next week.
And it's close enough where it's going to be still fresh in people's minds too. So that's it's actually might be a blessing in disguise in a little bit there. But 5 p.m. this Friday at the Roswell Chamber of Commerce.
Please.
There on West 2nd Street.
131 West 2nd. You can't miss us. We have that huge alien mural on the side of our building. So come on down.
Yeah, come see the mural. Come see the facilities come out. Usually she puts out a spread of drinks and
we've got
snacks
goodies.
and whatnot,
I was just going to say, Peppers will be catering some wonderful eats,
Nice.
and of course we'll have some beverages to be able to wash it all down. So please come and be a part of this. I'm excited to see what the community says.
I doubt they'll be serving alphabet soup, but if they do, it's pretty good.
There you go.
Because we had a historical society we had a generous donor basically take the board out for dinner one of our meetings.
That's wonderful.
And so we had a dinner / meeting at Peppers in December there, and the night we were there, I had the trout. It was really good, but they were offering the soup or salad, and everyone's like, "What's the soup?" It's like alphabet soup, and everyone's taking salad. So I looked around and said, "I ain't scared. Give me the soup."
There you go.
It was really good. So, but everyone was taking it. But I hadn't had alphabet soup in since I was a kid, probably.
Right.
It was tasty. It was good. Now, in all fairness, wasn't a lot of letters, but it was plenty of meat and stuff.
Well,
but
that's okay.
You weren't really trying to spell, so
Not like you are when you're 10.
Well, and then it may have been I just missed a few letters because maybe that's a D. Looks like a meatball. I don't know. I'm eating it.
There you go.
But anyway, great food at Pepper. So that if you need an incentive, they got really good
That's
food
right.
to come.
I am a firm believer. If I feed you, you will come.
Absolutely.
So I will feed you some nice little appetizers and then have a meeting. We're hoping for it to just be kind of an hour or so. However, if we will stay as long as people are interested in asking questions and want to get information.
As long as the conversation's relevant and respectful, obviously, then we'll keep it going as long as need to be.
That's right.
So, very good. But that's this Friday. If you would, RSVP, give the chamber heads up saying, hey, me and one other coming or whatever. But if you don't, no big deal.
That's right.
Show up 5 o'clock Friday. We'll get you.
We'll be ready to go. We're excited. And then
maybe a little less peppers.
Right. And then, of course, legislative session is
right
getting
around the
ready.
corner, a couple weeks away.
2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Our new, she's not new, but our governor will be giving her State of the State address at the new legislative session. And we will start rolling out updates on a weekly basis and then daily as relevant when something big starts to come through.
Are they, just from the tea leaves you're reading here, are they going to treat this like a normal legislative session, or is it going to be like the COVID version where meetings and stuff are going to be?
It's probably going to be a little bit of both.
Okay.
Because there's still some people that
Because I know there's a lot of things meetings, visits, and things that you guys do during that legislative session. A lot of that got put on the kibosh the last couple of years because of COVID. I didn't know if they're starting to let that kind of thing happen again.
It's opening up a little bit more. So, for example, on January 23rd is the legislative reception.
Okay.
Leadership Roswell is going back to Santa Fe.
First time in about 2-3 years now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we are so excited for Leadership Roswell to be going back to Santa Fe, which then means we as the chamber will have our booth at the legislative reception, which is the reception where we get to meet the legislators and talk to them about what's going on in our area, get feedback from them on what they see is happening up in Santa Fe. So if you are a community member with a business and you want to get your name and show Santa Fe and New Mexico who you are and what you do, and you've got items that you would like for us to pass out at the legislative reception, once again, give us a call, contact us, 575-623-5695. And let us know. I'm happy to go pick up items, or you can just bring them to the office because we will. We always have giveaways. We always have lots of really cool little things to give away up there during that particular time. Nimi, for example, has given us about 150 really cool backpacks that are stuffed with all kinds of really cool stuff.
Nice.
Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell campus has given us some stuff. And of course, other members have said, hey, contact us after the new year, which is now.
Hello.
Yay! And they will give us items to be able to pass out. So if you've got something that you want us to pass out and make sure that we're pushing your business, please contact us, and we are happy to take it up with us to Santa Fe.
Yeah, especially like maybe if you're a new business, maybe a business started within the last year and never had an opportunity to do something like this before. You know, get a chance to put different eyeballs on your product or at least your business, depending on what it is.
It's a great way to showcase who you are and what you do. We've got some red coats that are coming up, as well as some of our other faithful volunteers that have said, hey, we want to go up and help you out and enjoy that time. So please let us know whatever we can do, because Leadership, like I said, Leadership Roswell will be up there the 23rd and 24th. It's a Monday and Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday, January 23rd, 24th. Reception is January 23rd, that Monday. So we all leave out of town about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. Another thing, this is if you wish to do so, with these legislative receptions and things, we get an opportunity to see not just our local representatives, but from other parts of the state as well too. And this is part of what the chamber does. So if you've got issues and things that are kind of you've talked to your representatives about, please let the chamber know so they can carry that message with them up to these meetings. So when they, obviously we're trying to promote Roswell and everything else, but when they have these legislators in front of them, you say, look, my constituents have been asking us about this. What are you guys doing about that?
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what the chamber does. And
that is my wheelhouse. I both love and want to strangle those people up at Santa Fe on a daily basis.
Sure.
But that's exactly my personal wheelhouse. I love and get a charge out of talking to our elected officials. So if there's anything that you want to make sure that I talk to somebody, because there is some downtime while Leadership Roswell is doing their tours and talking with the different elected people or going through, say, the Supreme Court or their tours, then I can break away and go make sure that I'm talking to the relevant people, whether it be a state representative, a state senator, or a particular department. If I need to make sure that I'm going to a specific department and saying, hey, this is something that our members, our community down in southeastern New Mexico are having an issue with. how can we work together and get this taken care of?
Absolutely, yeah. This is what the chamber does when it's
absolutely.
This is part of the branch of the chamber. So, and this is part of why you become a member of being the chamber. So please, if you're, even if you're not a chamber member, reach out. But especially if you're a chamber member, and you've got some questions or just gee whiz curiosity, and let me face it, I know sometimes you get a chance with your own, and I know our local reps are very good about getting back with their, but I understand sometimes you hit brick walls and things, and sometimes the chamber can with the connections the chamber has, can kind of maybe circumnavigate some of those.
Absolutely. And I'm happy, if there's somebody that really has an issue that needs to be taken care of and they are hitting a brick wall or they don't feel that they're getting the attention that they need, we at the chamber are definitely willing to help out in any way. And if that means, oh gosh darn, I have to go up to Santa Fe and go help, quote unquote, lobby. And you got to be careful with that word because we're not a lobbyist.
Sure.
So we're not constrained to certain things, but we can lobby and
because you have a group
behalf.
of people you represent.
Yes.
You do get the ear of our people, our legislators.
Absolutely.
That's just, kind of an unwritten rule.
And New Mexico is a small town state.
Mm-hmm.
We have just shy of 2 million people in the entire state, so chances are you probably know somebody.
Exactly. you hit a rock around here,
or you know somebody that knows somebody, and if you can't get in, and I've learned in the last 2 decades being in New Mexico how to kind of work those channels.
Sure.
If I can't get to the guy, I know which channels to go to get to the guy.
And let's face it, a lot gets done with the schmoozing in this state.
Yeah.
Whether good, bad, and different, that's what happens. And, might as well put that to work for you. If
exactly.
You're gonna do it,
and I'm happy and willing and able to do it on behalf of our community and our members. So anything that you guys need, let me know. MIRP meeting, 5 p.m. this Friday at the chamber.
Yeah, put on your calendars, RSVP. Please. But if, like I said, if Friday hits, you forget, and you're like, oh, that's tonight, go.
Yes, please show up.
We want to get as many people there informed. So, because at the end of the day, whatever decision they go with on this thing, the important thing is everyone does it with the most information possible when they make that decision. And that's what we want to do. We don't want a decision made and then, guess what we found out a little bit later, all the Pandora's box of what that decision meant.
And come ask the hard questions. Once you get the information on what it is, how it's supposed to work, ask the hard questions. Because like I said, we will have city representation from city staffers. There are some elected officials that will be there. We'll have developers there. So come in and ask all the hard questions. Ask the developers the hard questions. Ask the city the hard question. Ask your elected officials. Don't sugarcoat it. If you really have a concern,
this is the point of this is why these people ran for office.
That's right.
And they're there to represent you and to do the wishes of the people.
That's right.
But the people's responsibility is to educate themselves on these things. You want you want the ear of your representatives. Well, then at least be informed.
Correct.
before you make your opinions.
Our representatives, whether it be city council, county commission, school board, at the state level or at the federal level, they are going to vote however they want to vote unless they hear from their constituents. Now, of course, the closer to home that you are, the more change that you as an individual can effect, because you're probably going to see that person. You're going to see that school board member, that city councilor, that county commissioner at a restaurant, at the grocery store, at football, at baseball, at dance. And so it's a little easier to get some of that stuff done versus you go to D.C. and you might never see that elected official.
They'll give
ever.
you a meeting just to say they gave you a meeting, and it's literally like, here, let me sign some stuff for you. And check out my cool desk. See you later.
Exactly. So come on in, please be informed. This is, like I said, this is the kind of stuff that just gets me charged up, and I just absolutely love. And my poor husband's like, oh my gosh, I have to go do this again.
And this is 30-day year?
This is a 60-day year.
This is long. I couldn't remember if last year was a 30 or 60.
Odd years are 60 days.
Okay.
Even years are 30 days.
So with a 60-day, that means there's going to be a lot more schmoozing.
Yes.
And it'll be quiet through January and February. And then about that last 30 days is when they start firing up.
It'll just start.
Yeah. But that first 30 days, it's usually a lot of schmoozing.
A lot of informational, a lot of committee meetings.
Yeah.
My goal is this year to be a lot better about getting those links to all of the committee meetings, to all of the open full sessions that are going on our website and social media, because it is kind of, a jaunt to go to Santa Fe, and not everybody wants to drive to Santa Fe like I do.
Yeah.
So we'll have those links. We will do our very best to get as many of the bills and stuff that are going on up in, and we have a perfect section on our website that's all about legislative news, and that's where you can start to see us posting those things.
And Mr. Nybert, Miss Candy Spencer, I'll be hitting you up here pretty soon to see if you guys would be willing to, once again, as they always seem to be willing to do, check in during the session from time to time to give us up to date on some of the big stuff that they're looking, they're working on. So we'll get that all lined up here. So matter of fact, I probably need to get on the blower and start getting that happening. So
so we're excited. Lots of new things coming down the pipeline. But the biggest thing for this week is that MIRP meeting. Please, please, please show up. I mean, and if it ends up only being 5 people, well, then I guess it's 5 people that can give them hell, Harry.
And if you live in Roswell, it impacts you, whether you got a house or not, because this is going to impact property values to people coming to the area or not, or what. There's a lot in the balance with
and
this
it's your tax
decision,
money.
Potentially.
It's your tax-paying dollars that you pay into the system that's going to be used, and you get to decide, is this something that you think is appropriate or not appropriate?
Yeah.
And, do you want new houses? Do you not want new houses? I mean, there might be some guy out there that goes,
and I'm sure
we don't need houses.
And I'm sure, you can make a list. There's going to be pros and cons of every decision. It's just which one's which one's got the longer list of pros and which one's got the longer list of cons.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to determine. That's why you need to come out Friday at 5:00.
Yeah, I'm learning stuff on it all the time, and I like to think that I'm one of the more above average informed people in the community, just by nature, but then also because of my position, and I'm still learning all about it. And I'm definitely one of those weirdos. I go to every city council meeting, I go to every committee meeting, and I ask the questions, and I'm like, okay, I see this. What does this mean? I think it means, am I right? And let me tell you, there have been more than once that I've seen something and they're like, no, that's not exactly, you're like half right.
Right, I gotcha. It's like you got this, but you missed this version.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Makes sense. But again, Friday, 5:00 at the chamber.
That's
Come on
right.
out.
And if you can call us, 575-623-5695, we'd greatly appreciate it. Otherwise, just show up.
Yeah. And then check out the chamber website and see see all the new tools and everything there. And get set up if you haven't done so.
That's right. Come be a member. It's the first, like you were saying earlier, it's the first part of a brand new year.
Yeah.
What a great time to come and be a member of the chamber.
Absolutely.
And we're going to show you how awesome you can be, because we're going to help you be awesome.
And the more help you have in your corner and making your business successful, the more you're going to want that.
Absolutely.
I've never said, you know what, I've got enough help here. I could use more.
That's right.
No one's ever said I don't need any more help. Rarely, especially for startups. So.
That's right.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
We'll let you tackle the pile of stuff waiting for you at the office there.
That's right.
So, and we'll see you here in a couple weeks.
All right. Thank you.
Happy 23.
Happy 23.
We'll see how much older we look in 2 weeks.
There you go.
office in Eddy County. District 4 County Commissioner James Bowen III, Assessor Rhonda Hatch, and County Clerk Kara Cook all took their oaths of office on Tuesday. Also taking new oaths were District 1 Commissioner Ernie Carlson and Probate Judge Jay Francis, who were re-elected to serve second terms. You're up to date. That's a look at local news headlines. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure will stay in place over the central and southern Rockies all the way through the weekend, and that means pretty nice weather for us. It'll be mild today, afternoon high in the mid-60s, and we should get sunshine and not too windy. For the overnight hours, a few clouds and mid-30s, and then close to 70 and sunny on Friday. We're in the low 60s with sunshine Saturday and Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. U.S. job openings fell less than expected in November as the labor market remains tight, which could see the Federal Reserve boosting interest rates to a higher level than currently anticipated to tame inflation. U.S. companies from tech majors to consumer firms are bracing for a potential economic downturn by shrinking their employee base to streamline operations. Job cuts announced by U.S.-based employers jumped 13% to 33,843 in October last year, the highest since February 2021. General Motors reclaimed the top spot in U.S. auto sales from rival Toyota in 2022, as it was able to better meet strong demand for cars and trucks despite industry-wide supply disruptions. GM touted its strength in the pickup SUV market with 1.1 million full-size pickups, mid-size pickups, and full-size SUVs sold in 2022. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Edge Safety and Services LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screen. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 402 West Main Street inside the Edge Safety and Services facility. Edge Safety and Services LLC is an equal opportunity employer.
When Rhonda was experiencing severe abdominal pain, she knew she could count on Artesia General Hospital's emergency department to provide critical care any time of day or night.
I didn't think twice about driving the 45 minutes from my home to Artesia's ER. I felt like I was their only patient. Excellent care from everyone, and I'm thankful beyond measure.
Each year, thousands of patients trust Artesia General Hospital with their health emergency. With specialty certifications in advanced adult and pediatric life support and trauma care, their emergency room physicians have the experience you need when every second counts. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/emergency.
As you begin this new year, you may have plans to get in better shape. That's a very good thing to do. I believe God wants us to take care of the body that He's given us to best serve Him. However, I think it's even more important to get our spiritual lives in good shape. That can be more challenging than physical exercise. Just like you need a plan to exercise, you need a plan to grow your spiritual life. Use a calendar or a journal, get a daily Bible reading plan, set an alarm on your phone, and take some time to read scripture and pray. Find a friend that'll partner with you so that you can keep each other accountable for not only daily Bible study, but for prayer as well. Just like you must discipline your physical body by building good habits, you must do the same thing with your spiritual body. At first, it may seem like you have to make yourself do these things, but believe me, once you get into that routine, you won't want to miss it, and you'll feel a true loss when you do. Give it a try. I promise it'll make a positive difference in your life.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
2022 was a roller coaster year for your Roswell Coyotes and Goddard Rockets, and KSVPTV.com is your home for every second of the action throughout the 2022 season. Relive all the game-changing plays and the players that made it a season for the books. Simply click on the Roswell Coyotes or Goddard Rockets tab at KSVPTV.com and get ready to dive into a season of memories made and victories won. KSVPTV.com, your official home for all things Coyotes and Rockets and Southeastern New Mexico's Sports Authority.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Sigmund Freud once believed that cocaine could be used to help treat a morphine addiction. Mike used bacon to get over his addiction to beef. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 8:59. Stay tuned next hour, about 9:15 or so. We're going to replay our interview we had on Tuesday with Robert Sherman from the Walker Aviation Museum. He joins us once a month and gives us an update what's happening at the museum. And then we always usually talk a little history about World War II or, anything kind of relating to the base or the missions that were going on around the world during the time because for those that don't know, Walker Air Force Base, Roswell Army Airfield before that, was a training base for many of your bomber pilots and stuff during World War II. So back then it was Roswell Army Airfield. And so we have a huge history of that. So a lot of times when Robert joins us, we talk a little bit about some of it. And matter of fact, we talk a little bit about, of course, about the Enola Gay and bombing of Hiroshima. But you may know a little less about the Great Artiste and Boxcar, two other planes that were involved in the Nagasaki, and how there was confusion and how the planes are mixed and all that. So we talk a little bit about that history with Robert too. So we'll have that for you next hour. Town Hall News is coming up next, and we'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The Goodyear Rubber Company researched and concluded that shoes wear out faster on the right foot than on the left. To fix this, just walk backwards for half the day. Here's Mike Winters.
I'm Rich Thomason. Compromise is in the air as Congressman Kevin McCarthy doggedly pursues the job of House Speaker, so far failing to win enough votes to secure the post, but that could change today.
Discussions between Republican Speaker nominee Kevin McCarthy and some of his 20 GOP detractors progressed on Wednesday after a sixth failed Speaker vote, pointing to more concessions from McCarthy as he aims to win over some of them ahead of the House returning at noon today. Items discussed in the meeting, according to a source, included lowering the threshold of a motion to vacate the chair, a move to force a vote on ousting the Speaker, to one member. The developments and negotiations come in addition to a McCarthy-aligned PAC, the Congressional Leadership Fund, committing to not spend and save GOP open seat primaries. Bernie Bennett, Capitol Hill.
Later this hour, President Biden will talk about the situation on the southern border.
The president has faced withering GOP criticism about border security and enforcement, a topic he will address later this morning. The speech comes as Mr. Biden is making plans to visit the southern border for the first time since taking office. Yesterday, he said he intends to visit the border in connection with his trip to Mexico City next week.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. Brian Kohberger, accused in the especially brutal killings of 4 University of Idaho students in November, is back in Idaho, where he's charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder.
Kohberger's return to Idaho could mean that sealed documents on the case could soon be released publicly. Right now, there's a gag order, and attorneys, law enforcement, and other officials are forbidden from talking about the case.
Correspondent Donna Warder says 28-year-old could make his first court appearance as early as today. There is a sell-off underway on Wall Street this morning. Right now, the Dow is down 389 points, a loss of more than 1%. The Nasdaq off 127 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, I'm Al Abaroa, founder of Knight Strategic Wealth. Inflation is a problem, markets are volatile, and the risk of running out of money in retirement is real. That's why I love annuities, and you should too. Your financial advisor doesn't want you to know that with our annuity strategy, when the stock market goes up, you earn a market-linked return that locks in every year, and when the stock market goes down, your annuity won't lose a dime. There are no unnecessary fees, and it works for your investments, money at a brokerage firm, or even money at a bank. It's simple, it's safe, and you should only invest if you learn the facts, and that's why savvy investors work with us. Want to learn more? Text FREE to 833-898-0500, and we'll send our retirement readiness kit directly to your phone right now. If you want to use safe, low-fee annuities to build a retirement portfolio that will go up with the market and never lose money, get our retirement readiness kit today and see how this strategy can help secure your future. Text FREE to 833-898-0500. Text FREE to 833-898-0500.
Israel's longest-held Palestinian prisoner has been released after 40 years behind bars.
Israel jailed Karim Yunus in 1983 for his part in the kidnap and murder of Israeli soldier Avi Bromberg in the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights 3 years earlier. He became a significant figure for Palestinians, writing political works in jail and also calling for agreements to be reached with Israel several years before the Oslo peace accords. Israel defended its decision not to release him as part of later deals with the Palestinians, which saw many prisoners freed, saying his detention was an internal affair as he is an Israeli citizen.
The BBC's Tom Bateman in Jerusalem. A doctor says the death toll in a pair of suicide car bombings in Somalia has risen to at least 20, including 9 members of one family. The physician says that more than 50 other people were admitted to a hospital for treatment following the explosion, Al-Shabaab claiming responsibility. News and analysis, townhall.com. All things tech on display this week in Las Vegas.
Tech companies of all sizes are showing off their latest products at the Consumer Electronics Show, or CES. The Vegas show is getting back to normal after going completely virtual in 2021 and seeing a significant drop in 2022 attendance due to the pandemic. LG unveiled a 97-inch OLED TV with what it calls a Zero Connect box that streams content wirelessly. Autonomy showed its latest delivery robot, which has a self-dispensing feature. That means a package can be delivered even if somebody's not there to collect it. And HoloRide showed off a VR headset it says can prevent car sickness in passengers. Tasha Stevens reporting.
Vladimir Putin has sent a frigate armed with Russia's latest hypersonic missile on a trans-ocean cruise. It's meant to be a show of force as tensions with the West escalate over Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder, and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to our number 3.
Tracing Viernos.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday, everybody.
Capitol rally ahead of the January 6th riot anniversary. I feel like it's not a good idea to have a rally celebrating a riot.
Yeah, what is that about? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're busy trying to figure out who's speaker. It's something different, I guess. I don't know. Something to break up the monotony of dumbness that's going on. It's kind of interesting, and I know that a lot of people have opinions on it and all that, and I'm just sitting back and watching with popcorn and eating and seeing what happens because from every angle there's a hint of idiocy in every angle and a hint of genius in every angle, and you gotta just sit back and watch it and let it play out.
As with most things regarding politics, I choose to be the Michael Jackson meme, sitting in the theater, just with my popcorn, just watching it all play out. Don't ask me my opinion, because I don't have one.
You just think of all the parts of the Thriller video, that would be the scene that gets the most memes.
Right?
You know, I mean, there's a lot going on in that video.
Yeah, they got the double locket thing.
But the one of him eating popcorn like he's excited.
Yeah.
In the, patented red Michael Jackson jacket. Yeah. Which, that's the only name for that jacket. Like, you cannot pull that jacket off anywhere else, and no one not going to say that's not a Michael Jackson
jacket. Sequin leather jacket? Yeah, no, it's...
Or the red one with the sequins.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique look.
Yeah. His military, pre-military signature. Like, he didn't go full... Like, a little later, when he started, getting more famous, if that was possible, that's when he started going with the fake military uniform.
Right.
Style dress apparel and all that stuff. But anyway, where was I after all that? I was talking about,
we're talking about politics.
It's a lot of people. I was looking on Twitter, and of course, Hannity's is kind of ticked off some people that kind of on his show last night. He had what's her name, Bobart or whatever her name is.
Oh, Lauren Boebert.
Yeah, her.
Boebert.
And he kind of called her out a little bit about the basically saying I think he said something to the effect of, "Is this a movie? What is this y'all are doing? This looks stupid," And that's in essence, I paraphrase, of course, but that's in essence what he said. And now some people are mad. They go, "Oh, well, you're out. Tucker Carlson's in. You're not conservative enough." Or I don't know. But he said one thing, and like these people are now, and then I don't know, and then some are like saying it's deep state Trumpers, these 20, and I'm like, and I'm sure there's some of that. I'm sure, and I'm good with. If they're holding out because of something, like I've heard, like there's like, one of the things is they want term limits and they want stuff like that, and that's where they're not balking on, and so they're not balking either. And if it's stuff like that, I'm all for that stuff. So hold out, keep holding out, because there is way too little transparency on Congress and how Congress does things, and that stuff's got to stop.
I think that
these clowns have been able to do all this stuff because they've been unchecked.
I've 100% been opposed to lifetime terms.
Congress, it's not designed
anywhere. Like it's infuriating to me that when you become a justice of the Supreme Court, that's a lifetime appointment. It's like there needs to be some sort of reign of term limits there. I feel.
I don't know about that one because it's a different animal.
Yeah, but
because technically that's not supposed to be political. How justices are selected, I will argue with that.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. How justices are elected, maybe we need to rethink that. But as far as a life term there, it's really a job where it's the end of the road. That job is not a
cool. So give them a pension for life. Do what they do with the president. Give them a salary for the rest of their life. They're taken care of. They got they got what they need.
Yeah, it's just
old people make bad decisions. There, I said it.
They make many less bad decisions than young people.
No, I'm talking about old people. Like,
if people are unfit for office, yes, they shouldn't be in there. But that is where you need experienced people that have spent their entire lives studying the law, making these decisions.
Sure.
And that's how it should be. It's all political and everything else.
I feel okay, fine. Let's not even put a term limit on it. Let's say at 85 years old, you have to hang up your gavel.
And here's the difference. Congress is an elected position. Supreme Court is not. That's an appointed position.
Right, it's an appointed position. Right.
That's my big issue there. Now, we can talk. Let's get through Congress first before we start fixing Supreme Court.
How about this? If you lose the ability to control your bowels and bladder, you can no longer be a Supreme Court justice. That's how I feel it should be. If you're unable to take care of yourself, you should not.
Is that a problem? Is there a rash of Supreme Court justices?
I'm implying that like 103, 104-year-old, Supreme Court justices should never be a thing.
Well, and most of the time it's not. And to be honest, the people we have on there now aren't like 104 years old.
Not yet. But then that's the scary thing is they're going to be there for a while.
A lot of them don't get that far. That's what I'm saying.
Thinking like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, for example.
She went forever.
Yeah. Probably should put a cap on that.
Well, you might get in trouble because there's a lot of people that love and respect.
And more power to her.
She did a great study. She did a lot for her job. And things. It's just that one you got to take case by case. You can't just put a blanket. But this is an elected position. We're talking about Congress, and I know our founding fathers don't want that's not a career position. It just isn't. That job was not meant for you to start it and be your job for the 30 years. That's not what Congress is for. It never was intended to be that way. What's happened is you've had two parties that have manipulated us into thinking this, and they try to give us the BS line that, well, you need experience. You need the mix of young and experience. Sure, I agree with you. We don't need people with 30 years of experience doing it. People that have basically spent their entire life in Congress, who end up being speaker and some of these things, they have no business being in Congress. Term limit them just like every other, if you think about it, governors, presidents, county commissioners, everybody has a term limit except for our United States Congress. Why is that? Why is that? And no one's raising that question or saying anything about it. And that's the problem. And that's where people just let this crap go. So
if that's what's going on in the holdout, don't let it go, ever. Make these people do their jobs.
Sure.
Now, if this is just a bunch of grandstanding for Trump, then I'm out.
Well, that's what, at the end of the day, that's what it's going to turn into.
Well, that's what they're all saying, and they're saying this and that, and, it's just, to me, my thing is if the fight's about transparency and it's real that way, then you keep fighting, and you don't give in to none of these clowns. But if it's anything other than that, don't be an idiot. Don't be ruining everything because you're a Trump supporter.
Right.
Do this because the country is worthy of it, needs it desperately. All right, soapbox done. But no, I get what you're saying about Supreme Court, and I get what you're saying. But
okay, I'll even go.
It's a different. It's not the same criteria for that job.
I'll go the other way with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is where I flip my script. So I said, make it to where you can't serve if you're too old. How about this? You can only be on the Supreme Court if you're 85 or older. That sort of sets up its own term limits. Well, you've had a lifetime to learn and to have the ability to make good decisions. At 85 years old, you can then become a Supreme Court justice and serve for 10, 15 years.
You might want to check your age because using your logic, Joe Biden's not qualified age-wise to be Supreme Court justice.
Right.
He's old.
Do you think he is?
But what I'm saying is, an 85-year-old Biden is not going to be any better qualified for that.
That's true. How about 74? We'll go 74. That puts that gives you a good amount of time in office.
Yeah,
a good solid 5-6 years.
I'm not for age limits on some of that stuff. Like president is, I think, one of the few that has an age limit, 35. You got to be at least 35 to be a president. I think that's the only one.
I think that there's. Don't quote me on this, but I thought there was an age requirement on Supreme Court justice too.
No,
is there not?
So I think you get appointed, and you have to get approved. That's it. You can appoint anyone you want to be a Supreme Court justice. It's just like running for magistrate judge. You don't have to have a judge experience to run for magistrate judge. You probably won't get elected. But what I'm saying is there's no rule saying that you have to have been a judge or even in any form of legal experience to run for a judge position.
So this says any justice of the Supreme Court or judge of the Court of Appeals who has attained the age of 65 years. Oh, this is the retirement of justices. Okay.
Yeah, I think
they can retire
to be one,
65.
there is no. I think president is the only one that has any kind of age restrictions on the job. So you have to be a naturally born U.S. citizen and 35 or older.
35. And that's another one I think we should do 35 to 70. If you get in at 70,
on it.
If you get in at 70, that's fine. But
I understand what you're saying. It's just it's a different animal. It's a different thing altogether. I mean, should there be some maybe how we choose these justices and how that process is? Yeah, but it is tainted because it's tainted farther down the chain.
Right. Oh yeah, 100%.
You're seeing a result of the tainting, which you're complaining about, and we need to fix something way earlier than making a justice 85. All right, I got to get going to get this interview in. It is 17 minutes after 9 o'clock.
Let's get listen to Tainted Love.
Whoa. Here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. High pressure will stay in place over the central and southern Rockies all the way through the weekend, and that means pretty nice weather for us. It'll be mild today, afternoon high in the mid-60s, and we should get sunshine and not too windy. For the overnight hours, a few clouds and mid-30s, and then close to 70 and sunny on Friday. We're in the low 60s with sunshine Saturday and Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, let me get my weather up. Sorry, I was looking at something else. Currently, actually, that's not even fresh. Man, I am slacking here. Here we go. Currently 40 degrees in Roswell. Humidity at 51%. Winds currently out of the southeast at 3 miles per hour. Sunny today, 62 for a high. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy with an overnight low of 36 degrees. Southwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Friday, get ready to be warm. It's going to be nice tomorrow. Sunny, 72. The first Friday in January of 2023, it's going to be sunny and 72. Winds out of the west, 5 to 15 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 34. Winds out of the northwest at around 10 miles per hour. Your weekend, a little cooler than Friday, but still pretty pleasant. Mostly sunny, highs of around 61 on Saturday. Winds out of the northwest 5 to 10 miles per hour. Sunny, once again, highs right around 60 on Sunday as well. And looks like next week won't disappoint either. We're going to be in the mid to upper 60s, at least through Wednesday of next week. So nice weather in store for the next week or so at least. Enjoy it. All right, it is 18 minutes after 9. We're going to take a 2.5-minute commercial break, and then we'll play our interview with Robert Sherman from Walker Aviation Museum. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Hi, I'm Dr. Keon at Carabelli Dental. Same-day smiles are what we do. My passion is helping patients chew, talk, and live with confidence. That's why I'm one of the few doctors in the U.S. who can create beautiful same-day smiles with the latest digital implant technology. This procedure is life-changing. Just ask Sean.
Hi, I'm Sean. I've been that voice that you've heard on the radio for most of my life, but I'm also a dad to 2 amazing kids. I've had a million reasons to smile, but in all my old pictures, I was never smiling. Truth is that life of improper care and being dealt a bad hand genetically left me practically with no teeth. It affected everything from the way I ate, the way I talked, and of course how I interacted with people. And that's where Dr. Keon and Carabelli stepped in. They eased my fears. They explained every step of the process in a way that I could understand, and they made me feel almost like I was part of the team. And now I can't stop smiling. I have so much more confidence, and I love looking in the mirror now. I can't explain how much of a difference Dr. Keon's dental implant process made for me.
Our team can help you find your smile too. Come see us at Carabelli Dental, 575-622-4455.
Sure, you can inspect your own roof, get out that rickety ladder, crawl around up there and try to spot the problem until... Or you can call the experts at Do Right Roofing. Do Right Roofing has quality products for any type of roof. They can even install seamless gutters. Do Right Roofing will inspect your roof and give you a free estimate fast. Keep your feet on the ground. Call Do Right Roofing today.
575-623-2273. Let Do Right do your roof right.
Find them fast in names and numbers.
Happy holidays and a happy new year from the Plateau family to yours. Give your whole home the gift of ultimate connectivity in 2023. For a limited time, receive a free Visa gift card when you sign up for a True Fiber internet plan from Plateau. Up to $250 for new True Gig customers. With Plateau's True Fiber internet, get unbelievable speed for streaming, gaming, working from home, and so much more. And for a limited time, new customers get a free Visa gift card. Learn more and sign up now at plateautel.com. Offers valid only for new customers within Roswell Fiber connected zones until January 16, 2023. 2022 was a roller coaster year for your Roswell Coyotes and Goddard Rockets. And KSVPTV.com is your home for every second of the action throughout the 2022 season. Relive all the game-changing plays and the players that made it a season for the books. Simply click on the Roswell Coyotes or Goddard Rockets tab at KSVPTV.com and get ready to dive into a season of memories made and victories won. KSVPTV.com, your official home for all things Coyotes and Rockets and Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Linen can absorb up to 20 times its weight in moisture before it feels damp. Now, you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom anymore. Here's Mike Winters.
It is 18 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, Robert Sherman back with us. Happy New Year, Robert. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay, Mike. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. And,
actually, at my age, I'm glad to still be here.
Yeah, when you hit a certain point in life, and you're just like, every day is a good day because I'm upright still.
That's right.
So,
yeah,
absolutely.
Throw back the covers. Look, if you don't have a tag on your toe, it's a good day.
There you go. Of course, for folks not familiar, Walker Aviation Museum is located inside the air terminal out at the airport, and it is a museum dedicated to the Air Force Base that called the south end of town home, Roswell Army Airfield, later Walker Air Force Base, and then also talking about the history of this area's role during the Cold War with the intercontinental ballistic missiles and things that this area called home during the early part of the Cold War era, and all of that. So that's kind of what the museum's about, and of course we love to encourage folks to, if you're going to be out at the airport, or if you're looking for something to do with your family or youth group or something, the museum would love to host your events or host your little groups for fun and for education.
Right. That education's the last word.
Yes.
We like to educate people on some of the history of what went on here in Roswell, back from like the 1941 to 1967 time frame. And of course, one of our missions today, besides talking about the history of the military base that was here, is the support of kids. When I say kids, young folks that are out trying to make a decision on what they want to do in life.
Sure.
And one of the ways we are trying to do that is through a grant from Excel Energy. We got a couple of flight simulators that are really pretty sophisticated, but right now they're set up for fairly simple aircraft, but there's Lockheed software, and they can fly 50 different aircraft and land almost any airport in the world.
Yeah.
So you get somebody in that's pretty familiar with that. You can say, well, you can select an F-22 Raptor fighter plane and land at Istanbul, Turkey at 9 o'clock at night in the rain.
And it's like flying a real F-22, not flight simulator game or whatever that you play on your computer.
Yeah,
or your Xbox.
we have rudder pedals.
Yeah,
and the yoke and stuff. But
you got to know the instruments, the whole.
And what comes up on the screen is the instruments that are on that aircraft.
Sure.
Yeah, so you're actually seeing.
And I imagine the more modern aircraft that you're simulating, the more advanced the heads-up display and everything. Everything on it. Yeah,
it's totally different.
You get in a Cessna, it's going to look a lot different, that cockpit, than say you're getting in an F-22 or
we have it set up for one
military
Cessna, I think 172 now.
Yeah.
So they can get and fly around and fly through these little green squares, and then finally, if they come up to a little yellow circle and fly through that, then they've completed everything, and a little band in the background plays like, yay, good job.
So you get some rewards for completing the different objectives and things.
I want to mention before we go on, our website, WAFB, standing for Walker Air Force Base, WAFBmuseum.org, is now, thanks to Juliana Halverson, really a good source of education for children or young folks. I keep saying children. When you're my age, I guess everybody's
they're all
children. But anyway, to go to. So you can go to that website, and once you get there, if you're on a computer, it'll come up in a different place versus your smartphone. But you can go up in the right-hand corner, upper corner. There's these little, horizontal lines. You click on that, and you get, a list of things. Education, history, stuff like that. You can just touch on history. Touch on education. And then, boom, up comes a page of our description that we give to principals and teachers and other people in the churches and stuff that tells our little program that we have out at the museum, which lasts about 2.5 to 3 hours, and ideally set up because of only 2 flight simulators and the small museum size for 8 to 12 people max. And they come out and get a little orientation of history, and then they get a little orientation of on a flight simulator, half of them, while the other half see about 13 different careers off of YouTube.
Nice.
So then they flip-flop and go the other way. So when they leave, they've kind of had 13 different ideas on YouTube and a little chance to fly a Cessna 172, and this is pretty good, pretty interesting.
Yeah, the whole point is obviously educating, but inspiring kids. If kids that are looking and using the museum's using that platform as saying, hey, there's some great STEM related career fields, and most of them generally are through aviation, but not all of them. They're so it's just exposing these kids to these opportunities to say, hey, a career in STEM can be pretty cool. Look at the opportunities just in the aviation industry, whether you're a mechanic or flying them or designing them. It's really cool. So that's what it's about. It's hopefully inspiring these kids to see STEM related career fields and be inspired to hopefully be the next generation of pilots and mechanics and aviation enthusiasts.
And what's the really cool thing about this is Juliana put that on there. So, you as a instructor or an adult or, having younger folks in the house can look at this and say, oh, this is the program they have. Okay, that's one thing you have. But then as you scroll on down on that website under education, you'll come across the 55 or so YouTubes that deal with career. And then you can have about 35 of them listed on different ones we selected that are really interesting as far as aviation or aircraft is concerned. Then, the big thing is, as you continue to go beyond the list of YouTubes, unfortunately it's not set up right now where you can touch that particular YouTube title and boom, go to that YouTube. But you can, write that down and just search it on YouTube and you'll find it. Then, if you can scroll on down, you'll hit a deal on professional pilot training, and that's where you'll come across about 35 videos on professional pilot training. It's all the same company, and it's, it has maybe 2 of them on instruments, 2 of them on aircraft weather. And if you watch all 35 of those, plus the 3 other ones on aerospace medical factors, and actually there's one on there 20 minutes long on drone flying.
Oh, wow.
So you can go across that, but you can click on that and it'll actually play, right? Start playing right there on your iPhone, and you can watch, starting out, Introduction to Flying, Aircraft Structure, Principles of Flight, Aerodynamics of Flight, Aerodynamics of Flight, Aerodynamics of Flight. So there's an example of 3. That's almost an hour of aerodynamics of flight.
Just showing the concepts.
You can really
of how
get
planes
into a lot of detail.
Yeah.
And
so you can get in the weeds or as cursory as you want to with it.
Right.
Kind of thing.
And then you search on down until you see 3 color photographs on your phone or on your computer. And the computer, I believe, is at the top, and the iPhone is at the very bottom if you scroll down. Then you come across a little section that says Professional Pilot Training YouTube. This says, and you click on that. No, excuse me. Corrected. You come across a box that says Comprehensive List of STEM Jobs. And you click on that and you go to a different website, which is actually the same website that's being used by Roswell High School.
Okay.
And I know Goddard, I think, is using the same one, or vice versa. I know Goddard, they told me, we were at a meeting with them, and they said, yeah, we use that website.
Oh, nice.
So anyway, you come across that, and up comes a different website that lists 331 science, technology, engineering, and math jobs. And then you touch on one of those that you select that you're like, that's interesting. And boom, here comes about anywhere from 5 to 15 pages of information on that job.
Oh, wow.
So as a young person, I wish I had that when I was that age. I could go through and find something that sounds really interesting to me. I could touch it, and you have a chance to look at it and study it. So there you go, right there on your phone. You can sit there as you're driving along, or you're flying, or just sitting in your living room on a Sunday afternoon, and you can look through all those 331 STEM jobs, or you can go through 38 videos of professional pilot training. So
nice.
And then further on down that same website, under education, we put together about 13 pages of STEM jobs in the Roswell region.
Okay.
Taken out 3 phone books. So we just kind of put those together.
Nice.
They're probably 98% accurate, but it gives you a list of all the particular jobs you have here in the area.
It gives you definitely a good idea of what to expect and what to find here in our community. And by the way, I know, with the college, with Eastern New Mexico University Roswell here, and because it's too located where this base was at, it offers a lot of training in the air industry stuff, drone technology to mechanics to flying and everything else too. So we kind of have a unique, area of ability to do some of this aviation industry STEM related stuff because we're just equipped for it.
Yeah.
And so not only can you learn about what these jobs are, but here locally, a lot of this stuff you can start your path to training for all of that.
That's right.
So it's really good.
WAFBmuseum.org.
Man,
go for it.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Juliana, for putting that on there for us.
Yeah, she's kind of your guru when it comes to.
She's our Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, when it comes to chronicling history and technology with you guys, she's kind of your go-to source.
Yeah,
for
she
all
is.
that,
She's really great. Yes. So
anyway,
we're plugging along and want to thank some people. For example, this year so far, Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development Corporation, Glenn's Furniture, 6 Bomb Wing Reunion Group, and David Petroleum, and General Murray, who was here, have all donated substantial amounts of money to help us keep our doors open. And
good deal.
The rent went up a little bit, but
as it does from time to time.
As it does from time to time. So
cost of living, cost of doing business.
We're still in the process of trying to contact some folks to help us out, because we're for the last couple of years haven't done any golf tournaments, but maybe we'll get back to that eventually.
Hopefully, maybe 2023 on the plans for maybe trying again, or
maybe so.
All right,
we're getting ready to sit down and see what we're going to do this year.
We'll make you determine your direction here very soon in the next. By the way, speaking of that, you guys are always looking for new volunteers to serve on the board.
That's a big issue.
Yeah, if you're interested in helping to kind of shape the future of the museum, love to volunteer and be a part. Even if maybe you're not ready to work on the board, but if you're maybe retired or have some free time and like to work as a docent or just help, with physical labor of moving exhibits and, building things and taking care of stuff from time to time, they're always looking for volunteers. And of course, if you love to serve on the board, they're always looking for those folks to share their expertise. You guys have a pretty unique board of folks from different backgrounds that makes up a really good group of people to kind of steer the direction of the museum. So
right.
But reach out, come on out and check out the website or whatever if you're interested in getting more involved too.
Yeah, let me run through this. Of course, on the board is myself. Allie Bishop is our new treasurer. Katie Yates used to be the treasurer, but she's still on our board. Sandy Correa, secretary. Bob Donnell, Juliana Halverson, Judy Armstrong, Jerry Kloffer, Friar Jarek Nowacki, the priest there in the Catholic Church, Stephen Miller, and General Doug Murray said, "I'm not here, but I want to still be on the board in absence." And
he's like the emeritus.
Yeah, we
board
keep
member.
track with him. And then Ted Smith is our newest guy to join our board, and he's really one of our main volunteers out at the museum right now. He's kind of suffering some illness, so he's kind of staying home.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But he's a great history guy and putting together all kinds of information. I wouldn't be surprised if he put almost a book together. He's just doing all kinds of research on everything from the accidents that occurred here and exactly what planes were here and weren't here. And
oh, wow.
So
in all fairness, he loves doing that stuff.
Yeah.
That's
he's
like
retired,
his passion.
30 years Army.
So as much as he's doing a service for the museum.
Oh, yeah. Great job.
He's probably like a kid in a candy store going through this.
Yeah, he is. A big kid in the candy store. Now Ted's doing a great job.
Yeah, absolutely.
So anyway, today, before we depart, I was going to talk a little quick history blip on. I think I talked about this about a year or two ago, but kind of interesting thing dealing with the end of World War II, the last bombing of Nagasaki.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll talk a little bit, kind of interesting twist on that particular story and how it kind of got things mixed up a little bit initially. But, we're in contact with schools, the church groups, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Youth Challenge, other folks, trying to get folks to come out and schedule a group of young folks to come out and get our program and get a little history.
Yeah.
And we take them out to the edge of the flight line and we talk to them about kind of some of the businesses that are on the flight, at the Air Center. And all
the
that
kids
kind of
love
stuff.
that too, because a lot of that's restricted. Most people can't just walk around that area up for security reasons, obviously. So that's kind of another cool peel back of the curtain that these groups get to see and see parts of the airport there that the public generally doesn't get access to. So
yeah, if you are out there and you want to go on YouTube, there's a particular one. Gary Sinise does the narration. I talked about it before. The Enola Gay B-29 Super Fortress, the bomber that dropped the atomic bomb, and it goes in. It's about an hour and a half long, but it's all the history of kind of building up the B-29. Paul Tibbetts' background as of that mission, and how he started out going to be a doctor, and then he got a chance to ride in a little biplane and throw new candy bars out that this guy had developed called the Baby Ruth. Everybody knows those. And he did that for a week, and then he got really hooked on flying. So he ended up, being a flyer. and he played a really key role in bombing missions in Europe, and then he was transferred back and was put in charge of the mission, the super secret mission that was coming up, and how they went to Wendover, Utah, and did that, and eventually went out to Tinian to carry out the mission that ended the war and probably saved.
So they spent some time training for it before they.
Oh, absolutely! They trained all over and over again with these what they call pumpkin bombs, and they would just drop them. That was the same shape as the one they were going to carry, and the fact that when they dropped it at high altitudes they could get, they'd make a hard turn left or right.
So I'm assuming they knew which the targets were by then during training, or were they just?
No, they didn't know for sure because that was still kind of being discussed.
So they were just the concept of dropping an atomic bomb and getting the precision.
Yeah. And while a lot of this was going on, Truman, who found out, like if you read this book that Countdown 1945 by Chris Wallace, that's the #1 bestseller, and it was copyright 2020, but it's really good, and it talks about Truman. Starts out, the first paragraph or two talks about Truman getting called over to the White House. He said, oh, good, I'm going to get to meet with, the president only met with him twice so far and found out that, no, you're the president now, because he had passed away. And then a lot of that book takes place, he's over in Europe dealing with Churchill and Stalin while they're making decisions on what target to hit and stuff. Because this is when the Germans were defeated.
Yeah.
So they were over there. And, I didn't realize that they were planning on dropping atomic bombs on Germany and Japan on the same day.
Ooh, wow.
But, Germany won.
Yeah.
I didn't, realize a lot of stuff you come up in this book that you didn't realize that was going on.
I would imagine dropping a bomb in Europe, in Germany, would have a much bigger impact than Japan.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just depending on the winds and everything else.
You're surrounded by countries.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
I was kind of shocked to hear that, but.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, that's when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, there would have been a lot more casualties if they would have dropped one in Germany.
Yeah, right.
Ooh, yeah.
But anyway, so that's kind of that situation. But,
interesting.
Yeah. So there's some good things out there. Countdown 1945 and the Enola Gay B-29 Superfortress on the YouTube.
Have you ever had a chance to see the Enola Gay in person?
I did. I think I saw it. I've been to, the museum.
Yeah, I've seen it in a couple different forms.
Yeah.
It's housed by the Smithsonian Institute. The actual plane itself has now been put back together, and it is now on display in D.C. at the Air and Space Dulles Annex, not in the main museum in D.C. proper, but out there. They have an annex facility out in Virginia, Dulles Airport, and they keep the Enola Gay there. They keep a space shuttle there. They have a Concorde there, an SR-71 Blackbird, some other aircraft as well, too. But the Enola Gay is one of the featured aircraft there. And so I've seen it put together there. But for years prior, they didn't have it fully on display. It was, and so they had a partial display in the Smithsonian Museum in D.C. Where you could see the tail, and they had the cockpit in there, and you could go and look in the cockpit from there, and they had a whole section talking about what the plane did, but it wasn't fully assembled. It was in pieces, the plane. Now it's fully assembled and sitting there at the Dulles Annex, and you can, it's got ropes around it, but you can kind of get up and look and see it in its glory there. It's pretty cool. So definitely worth a check out if you're ever in D.C.
By the way, if you do come by the museum, we've still a fairly small area, but we've put 5 4x8 pegboards up on the south concrete wall. That was really hard to hang pictures on because it was reinforced concrete and stuff. But Steve Griffin, Jim Williams, and Bob Donnell got together with that idea and put that up so we can really hang and move pictures around real easy on that wall. And we had an interesting time when we were putting that up because we were using a nail gun. And we had to let TSA know when they hear a gunshot go off that it was...
They get a little nervous.
Don't say shots fired and have everybody hit the floor or something. But so anyway, got that done and got that up and running. So
good deal. So if you're looking come check out the airport now. The museum is open generally to the flying schedule. So
unfortunately, because we only got 3 of us right now, Bob Donnell.
If you want to volunteer more,
Yeah.
If you want to do more than be more than the three gentlemen that are doing it all the time, then we can do that. But in the meantime, it flies around the flying schedule. If you check AA.com, and when they have their couple flights a day that come in and out of Roswell.
Usually it's the midday flight, which right now is at 1:50 takeoff. And so we get there about 11:30. Sometimes Ted gets out there earlier because he's, doesn't have anything else to do, so he goes out there. But 11:30 till about 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And we want to try to be there after the plane lands, comes in from Dallas, so the people getting off have a chance to see the museum. But then by that time, everybody's kind of been checked through TSA, and they're ready to board the aircraft.
Yeah.
So leading up to that, that's where we get our visitors.
So the public can help out by one of two ways: coming early and looking at the stuff, or showing up late to pick up your people, so they've got time to look at it while they're waiting on you to come get them.
Right. That's right. There you go.
So be a service to the museum and show up late to pick up the people you're supposed to pick up. So they can come. They'll appreciate you for it, even though they might yell at you for a minute. They'll appreciate it later. So.
That's right.
But check out the website too, wafbmuseum.org. There you can, like you said, check out all the videos and everything that Robert was talking about earlier. But at the same time, if you're interested in volunteering, if you're interested in getting more involved, then that's a great space to do that. And of course, if you
shopping on Amazon, go to
the Amazon Smile tab too. I always forget about that as well. The Walker Aviation Museum, not the Air Force Base, the Aviation Museum does have a Amazon Smile tab. If you go through the Amazon Smile, for folks who've been through Amazon, almost all of us have, I'm sure, at some point or another, you can designate the museum to basically get a little funding every time you go shopping on Amazon. So you go shop on Amazon and buy your things. It doesn't cost you any more, but for every time you shop Amazon, a portion of your purchase, a few pennies, will go to the museum. So if you get enough people doing that, they get a nice little check each month. It's just, they might get a couple bucks here and there, but enough people do it, they could get a few $100 each month, just by you shopping on there. And I know we always tell people to shop local, and that's a good thing, and definitely do that. But sometimes you can't, and so if you use the Amazon Smile, you're at least helping local when you're not shopping local. So it's a good thing to help out there too. So,
that's right.
You'll find a direct link at wafbmuseum.org. That way you can go, if you're next time you go through Amazon, go to the museum website, go through that link, and then bookmark it. And then every time you go to Amazon, just go through that bookmark, and then you can kind of help out the museum without thinking about it. Just kind of happens that way. So.
We made up a new little card that unfortunately has my name on the back of it, but I guess that's because I'm the current board president. But I put on the back on my card, on my side, it says Roswell High School, class of 61. So people are like, oh, okay, you're from Roswell. And I was in the Air Force 68 to 98, and I was an air crew instructor for 27 years. So when I made this card up so that when I'm dealing with teachers and stuff, it's like I'm one of you. I used to teach air crew for 27 years, and aerospace physiology, human factors in aviation, and aircraft accident prevention, and sometimes some aircraft accident investigation. But pressure suit operations for 11 years. And then the last 3 years, they made me a hospital commander or clinic commander because they decided they didn't want to waste a doctor on being a clinic or a hospital commander. So I was one of the first ones they tried out on that up in Montana.
Well, yeah, when you spend generally speaking for military folk, and this for enlisted officer, it doesn't really matter. The first half, if you do a full 20 or so in the military, 20, 30, usually like the first half of the career, you're doing your job.
Right.
And then as you get leadership and everything else, you turn into more of a leadership role. So you may be a leader in your expertise. They may just be a leader in a place where they need a leader.
That's right.
So even though you're kind of trained for doing aircraft, that kind of stuff, by the time you're later in your career, you could end up, being the commander of a chow hall.
A good example of that is my first assignment. I was a pilot training base at Williams Air Force Base in Mesa, Arizona. And one of my class leaders that came in was the Major Andy Anderson, and he was a major because he was a doctor. He was trained to be a pilot. He went on to fly F-Force. But later on, like we're talking about, when I was getting ready to do this, he was Surgeon General of the Air Force, 3-star, and I was, a guy that worked in his office there at Bowling and at Washington, D.C., and so we knew each other really well, and he just said, going to try to do that. So that's one of my things on that is be careful when you're around people early in life because you never know what's going to happen when you meet them later in life.
Exactly. And it's kind of shocking because if your peers that you meet when you're young airmen, and let's face it, there's still a lot of kids at that stage, 18, but they're teenage boys basically.
Yeah.
And so you get to be friends with them, and then you see them 10, 15 years later where they're in places of leadership, and you're like, don't trust that guy, but they've matured so much, but it's that, it's like, oh, they're still kind of goofy, as you remember, but yeah, you mature in that time. And so when you see a kid that's 18 with you and you're both young and dumb and stupid and doing things, and then you see them 10, 15 years later, and you see that change, and it's, I don't know, to me that's part of the cool part of the military.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's the life. It really is. So,
do we have time to do a quick history on the Nagasaki thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. And of course, in this book that I was telling you about, Countdown to 1945, there was lots and lots of grinding of just people concerned about dropping atomic bomb and all the casualties of civilians and stuff. But at the time that was going on, they were looking at having to invade Japan, and all the casualties that the Allies would suffer doing this, and all the casualties that the Japanese would suffer doing this. They were training children with bamboo sticks. They would go down the beaches and try to stab people coming on the. I mean, he was just talking about, and the soldiers dealing with. Seriously, you want me to try to shoot a child?
Sure.
Yeah, it was all kind of crazy stuff. So
it was going beyond, for lack of better, rules of war, so to speak.
So they were just hoping that something shocking like this would happen, and then they say, okay, fine, we surrender. But at that time, they weren't going to surrender. So anyway, so it was not an easy decision that you find.
But you're right.
In
the long run, we probably saved a bunch of lives by doing what we did, because more than likely this war would have dragged on and on with
because the one before that was Okinawa, 82 days on Okinawa, and all the casualties suffered from that, and all the you got to at that mindset. The ideology was, and ultimately it worked, was kind of a shock and awe to get them to surrender. Right.
Like, but wait, you think that's bad? We got more coming.
Right.
And you want to play this game? We will win. And that ultimately it worked. But that was the strategy.
So. If reviewing quickly on the interesting history and connection of the B-29s, one was named Boxcar and the other was called the Great Artiste.
Yes.
And their role in World War II. Major Charles Sweeney, he was a 393rd Bomb Squadron commander. He flew a B-29 called the Great Artiste, and it flew during the Hiroshima mission, and it flew as a blast measurement instrument aircraft. Because this was, they were... Matter of fact, when they dropped that bomb on Hiroshima, it had never been tested. The one they dropped on Nagasaki was tested in the desert out here by White Sands.
Got you. Okay.
So they were two different bombs. So Major Sweeney and the Great Artiste were scheduled to carry the atomic bomb on the second mission to Kokura, and that was going to be the target for the second bomb rather than Hiroshima. Of course, Hiroshima's first, Kokura was the second. The blast instrumentation was supposed to be moved from the Great Artiste to the B-29 named Boxcar to make room for the atomic bomb on the Great Artiste. However, because of weather situations coming up, they moved the second atomic bombing from the 11th of August to the 9th of August, and therefore they did not have time to transfer the equipment out of the Great Artiste to Boxcar. So they said, okay, we'll just fly the Boxcar instead. And they took the crew that were flying the Great Artiste, and they went over to fly the Boxcar. And then the Boxcar crew went back, and they were going to fly the Great Artiste, which already had the equipment in it.
Gotcha.
Sounds kind of confusing, but...
It makes sense in the logistics thing.
And you kind of wonder, why don't you just do that in the first place, instead of trying to transfer equipment, whatever.
Sure. Well, and quite frankly,
I'm sure, the pilots, everybody, they fly planes.
Yeah, they want to fly their plane.
They want to fly their
with
plane.
their crew chief,
Yes,
or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially in a mission as important as this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So when arriving at Kokura during the bombing mission on the 9th, Boxcar flew 3 bomb runs over the city of Kokura, and that lasted 50 minutes without being able to see the target, and therefore he diverted to the alternate target of Nagasaki. The atomic bomb, the Fat Man, was dropped, as it was called, dropped on Nagasaki at 10:58 a.m. on 9 August. It was a 21 kiloton weapon, exploded 500 meters, about 1,500 feet above the ground, similar to Hiroshima. However, it was about 1.5 miles northwest of the planned aiming point, so they missed their aiming point by 1.5 miles. Approximately 44% of the city was destroyed, and part of it was protected by intervening hills. Due to the failure of a fuel transfer pump, the aircraft boxcar had 640 gallons of fuel that it couldn't use, so it made an emergency divert and landing at Okinawa rather than returning to a landing planned at Iwo Jima. So when they landed, the boxcar could not contact the ground because its radio had failed. So maybe we're talking here again about an aircraft that was set up, but anyway, it was substituted.
Sure.
So it fired flares to warn of the unannounced landing, and it lost one engine on final approach because of lack of fuel, and it landed 30 miles an hour faster than normal, and then lost another engine after touchdown and almost crashed at the end of the runway, but was able to perform a high-speed 90-degree turn.
Wow.
So it was a close call.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So a war correspondent, William Lawrence of the New York Times, was on board the Great Artiste, not realizing Boxcar and the Great Artiste had changed places because during those missions, only the Enola Gay had a name painted on the nose. The other ones did not have names painted on the nose.
Okay.
So he mistakenly reported to the New York Times that the Great Artiste had dropped the atomic bomb, when actually it was the aircraft was the Boxcar. And none of the B-29s, like I said, had their names painted on. So anyway,
interesting.
That's kind of how initially there was some confusion that the second aircraft was the Great Artiste.
Do you know off the top of your head where Boxcar and the Great Artiste are they still in a museum somewhere?
Are they? I should know that, but I'm
kind of curious. I've never seen them, and I'm not sure where. I have to go. I might dig online and do that. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
I've seen the Enola Gay, and I know where it's at, but I'm kind of curious for the Great Artiste. I wonder if one of them's at Wright Pat, maybe in Ohio. I don't know.
That's a good question. I will.
I'd be very curious.
Give me something to look at.
I'd be very curious to see where they're currently home to. So, check out the website wafbmuseum.org. Come on down and see the museum. They are located in the air terminal. If you go through the main entrance, you can't miss it, right there. And then, of course, if you want to be a volunteer or anything else, check out the museum website. Go ahead and check out there as well, too. And then, of course, you can reach out to Robert directly here. Where's the cell phone here? That'd be the best number.
That's my cell phone.
575-420-3789 if you want to volunteer, have questions.
Yeah.
If you want to.
I don't recognize your phone number, so just text me initially.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a call back, and we can definitely get together. And
yeah,
I'd love to have you come out and we show you around and some of the stuff. It's actually, I'm retired, but like yesterday we had 22 visitors, and I'm going out again today. But you meet interesting people from all over the country. And it's a positive thing. It's a lot better than sitting around the house miserable watching TV or drinking coffee. Just get out there and meet some folks for 2-3 hours.
And it's very interesting.
Help us out. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's a really good deal. So, well, thank you, Robert. As always, appreciate the visit. Happy New Year, and we'll see you next month, okay?
That's right.
All right.
For Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Cirillo. The Eddy County Commissioners are asking for public input as they try to decide on a final route for Carrasco Road. The road is projected to connect 2 major highways south of Carlsbad. 6 routes have been proposed during a series of meetings last year. Commissioners are trying to narrow that list down. The estimated total cost of the Carrasco Road project is somewhere around $25 million. And with the turn of the calendar page into a new year, new officials are taking office in Eddy County. District 4 County Commissioner James Bowen III, Assessor Rhonda Hatch, and County Clerk Kara Cook all took their oaths of office on Tuesday. Also taking new oaths were District 1 Commissioner Ernie Carlson and Probate Judge Jay Francis, who were re-elected to serve second terms. You're up to date. That's a look at local news headlines. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist, and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. 1 in 3 snake bite victims is drunk. 1 in 5 is tattooed. Hold my beer and check this out. Here's Mike Winters.
And it's closing in on 10 o'clock. That's going to do it for us. Have an amazing day. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Take care.
See ya.
We'll see you in the morning. Don't go away.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. The House of Representatives reconvenes for another vote on who should be the new House Speaker. Here's an update with Bernie Bennett.
John, the House adjourned last night at 8:30 with plans to meet at this hour to once again try to elect a new speaker. 20 conservative Republicans continue to oppose the nomination of GOP leader Kevin McCarthy, who saw challenges from Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries and fellow Republican Byron Donalds of Florida. If a decision is made today on whom shall lead the House, members will be sworn in, rules for governing this 118th Congress will be voted on, and members will begin debates on their legislative agenda before breaking for the weekend. Back to you, John.
The Biden administration will begin turning away Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans who cross the U.S.-Mexico border illegally. It's a major expansion of an existing effort to stop Venezuelans attempting to enter the U.S. The president will visit the border this weekend.